We're live. Helping hand here. Thanks for your patience, guys. I know that I had the notification saying that it was between an hour to 2 hours away, but for some reason YouTube kept canceling the time frame that I said. I have no idea what that was about. But in any case, I'm here with Reckless Trucker. Hey, Trucker, you there?
What's up? What's up? Sorry, I was trying to pull up the chat in this thing and stuff. Hello, Reckless Trucker. I'm Reckless.
Hey, yeah, we got the vampiric narrator here.
Hello, I've been on this channel before, and I'm a vampire, and I narrate things.
Indeed. And last but certainly not least, this is Raymond. This is the friend that I introduced in my first two videos, Michael Can't Even Words and Story Time for Tim, when Tim decided that he was going to try to label me a Nazi sympathizer by saying that I was dehumanizing people who have disabilities and so on. And we've had lots of people wanting to hear from you, Ray, and wanting to hear your story. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell everyone how you know me, and what's been going on with you.
Not too much. Hello, everybody. Again, my name's Raymond. Call me whatever you guys want. Basically, Aaron is one of the oldest and probably only childhood friend I've had since elementary school. Minus about 16, 17 years when I moved to Oklahoma. But other than that, he was my right-hand man and pretty much got my back and everything that we did in elementary school. So it was definitely a fun experience. You guys are going to have to forgive me here a little bit. This is my first YouTube live thingamajiggy or whatever we're doing here. So
yep. Well, I got to tell you, man, I didn't really plan it out too much. That doesn't really have too much structure, but essentially what I want to do here is open this up as a Q&A. For my last two subscriber specials, I did Q&As, and I'm essentially going to be doing the same thing here, but I thought I'd make it a more relaxed format. So I'll go ahead and open up the chat to anybody who wants to pose a question, either to me, to Raymond, or anybody here. And I'm probably going to have this running for maybe an hour, hour and a half. I'm not entirely sure. I might have a couple other content creators come on in. Anybody who shows up in the stream is open to answer questions, so go ahead and shoot them, and as they come in, we'll answer anything you have to ask.
Sounds good. Ask away. I'm an open guy. You know, feel free to ask anything, say anything, comment, whatever you guys want. I'm pretty much laid back, so it'd be pretty hard to, you know, make things uncomfortable for me. So I'll tell it like it is.
Hey, Tyler, did we lose you there, man?
Ty?
He looks like he's on mute.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to take him off.
Oh, look at the Hangouts chat.
I think he's probably handling noise that's going on. All right, let's see what's going on.
Mike is dead. Said that you sound so chill.
Yep.
Great.
I want to fucking die.
Why? What's going on, man?
I might need a new USB for my Blue Yeti.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I've been having those problems lately too, so what's going on? So I get one from Mike Zimmer here asking, Han, do you watch shows like Family Guy? Yes, I fucking love Family Guy. I mean, Family Guy has had its kind of ups and downs, you know, during the time it's been around. It's had its good years and its bad years, but overall, yeah, I fucking love Family Guy. I mean, especially the epic battles between Peter and the giant chicken. Like, as an animator, I respect Seth MacFarlane just for that. And when this new sci-fi series of his comes out, I cannot wait. I'm going to binge watch the hell out of that.
But they want to know, what about Rick and Morty? I'm all about Rick and Morty, so.
Yeah. To my lasting shame, I have actually yet to get into Rick and Morty, and I keep meaning to get into it because there's a lot of people around me that watch it and they recommend it. But I keep
the same thing here, man.
Yeah, I have a bunch of shows that I just it's basically the same thing with Game of Thrones. You know, I have a bunch of people around me that keep telling me, "Oh man, you need to watch Game of Thrones," and I keep meaning to, but you know, between managing the channel and you know a bunch of other shows that I'm watching, plus the fact that I just got an awesome new gaming PC, so I've been binging a bunch of games that I just bought and whatnot. It's there's only 24 hours in the day, you know. But yeah, eventually though, I will get around to Rick and Morty.
Right. Hey, got a question from Hugh Janice. Basically, without implying that you are a lesser ability, what was it like training in the martial arts and overcoming the struggles around it? Uh, I I don't know. I mean, I was what? How old was I, Aaron, when I was in the martial arts? What, 7, 8, 9 years old for 3 years?
Yeah, I know you were taking martial arts, and I walked into a couple of your classes when you were still here, and that was probably about 2 or 3 years before you left. So,
Right.
yeah.
So I did that for about 3 years, and I want you to keep in mind, Hugh. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I know for a fact you've seen people with prosthetic legs. You know, those big, heavy, 30-pound each things. I'm a little kid. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't the greatest things, but it was definitely something that I wanted to do. Now, also, when I moved to Oklahoma, in a small dinky town, we didn't have martial arts. Well, they did, but I wasn't quite involved in it. I actually got involved with wrestling. Talk a little bit more about that later, but ever since seventh grade to my graduation in high school, I was a wrestler. I was Oklahoma State Wrestler of the Year. So everything that I have done wasn't that much of a struggle for me, only because it's just something that I love to do. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. But right now, being 32 years old, I actually have thought about going back into martial arts just to stay busy, just to stay active, you know, instead of sitting at home after a long days of work doing nothing.
Right. Well, I can tell you right now, man, wrestling, if you told me that it's mostly upper body strength, I would believe you, because even minus the legs, like the first few years that you started visiting back in Colorado, you know, when we were still kids, after you started getting into the wrestling thing and, you know, we'd roughhouse and whatnot, the most I could do was like find the high ground and pray to God that you couldn't get a hand on me.
Well, when you got like upper body strength, I mean, try to picture this. When I was in wrestling, I was weighing like 90, 100 pounds, you know, but my body strength was probably of 145, 155 pounder or something like that. So
Right.
I actually got a good hand of these, you know, wrestlers, and I just tossed them around like rag dolls. But
Right.
yet, of course, you know, there are these wrestlers who I've wrestled throughout high school. They figured out how I wrestled, and they got me pretty good. I'm not going to lie. But the upper body strength has a lot to do with it
Right.
in every of my daily activities, you know. So
Right.
it helps.
So I got a question here from Hellraiser Zalin 10, I believe it's pronounced. Did you guys ever try fencing? Well, me personally, no. I've never really been into any sports like that. Although fencing would have been one that interested me. I have had a couple of friends that have been into fencing, and they would have liked it. I'm not sure that Ray really could have, though. I mean, if for nothing else, in the fact that it requires a lot of like long like leg movements, and the prosthetics that he's had to use up until now, they just wouldn't be fit for that. But I'll tell you what.
Definitely not for the fencing. I'm very, very slow. Well,
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, since I got this gaming PC put together, one of the first games that I invested in was Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, and I got to tell you, if we start getting prosthetic technology like that, you can expect me to pressure you to get robotic legs, man. Because
yeah, no, thank you. Believe me, I just got asked like a week ago when I got my legs adjusted.
Yeah.
I always get bugged. Hey, you're gonna want to try these prosthetic legs. Technology is better and newer. Don't get me wrong, I believe it, but I rather be 4'10", short, and not have to deal with those legs.
Hey guys, first off, wait till the Russians hack those things.
Oh yeah, it's.
Secondly, Jason says, "Do you like gladiator movies?"
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen a few hit and miss, in my opinion.
I mean, honestly, it really depends on what you mean by gladiator movies. Like you talk about what did it come out like? Maybe in the mid to early '90s. Gladiator. I think it was with who was it? Russell Crowe or somebody.
The one with Hulk Hogan, man.
Oh my God. Right. Yeah, it's hit or miss like anything else.
Yeah.
Micah Zimmer asks, "Have you guys ever played Pokemon?" I mean, come on, man. We're 80s. At least me and Raymond, we're
90s,
children
yeah.
children of the 80s, man. Of course, we played Pokemon, but as far as I'm concerned, I haven't really been into it since like the days of like Gold and Silver. It's pretty much passed me by. I have a lot to catch up on, and some of the newer ones that I've seen have seemed pretty cool. So I might get back into it at some point, but. Yeah, we grew up on Pokemon just like everybody else in the past 20 years.
I personally prefer playing Gold and the Silver remakes, the Red and Silver remakes. Silver, in my opinion, was the best one they ever came out with.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you watch Eki from Jacob Yemenes.
Eki? Are you sure you don't mean Ecchi?
I don't know how they pronounce anime.
Was it Ecchi anime? Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not going to say that I have any in particular, but any anime that goes out of its way to like borderline almost be hentai, but not quite, just to instill butthurt in the in the prudes that are going to watch it, that's funny as hell to me. There's been a few around, but honestly, no names really come to mind right away. If I think of any, though, I'll tell you.
There's one that's in my mind.
Ecchi, according to Yek Nomino.
What is it?
Ecchi.
Yeah. I haven't been into anime in quite a while. I mean, I know there's a lot that I need to catch up on, especially Attack on Titan. Like I saw.
Oh, that one's fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, I was definitely impressed with that, but apparently it's been slow going about getting the second season out. So I've had a lot of people telling me that I should start with, I should start getting into the manga, and I like what I see. It's pretty damn good. So I'm curious to see where they go from there.
I would suggest My Hero Academy, Hitman, and there was one other recent one that was Mob Psycho.
Oh yeah. Jonathan Essex asks, "Do you watch One Punch Man?" Not yet, man, because that's another one of those ones like Rick and Morty that I haven't gotten into yet. But I've seen enough of it to know that I would absolutely fucking love it. This fucking anime where I can't remember what the protagonist's name is, but essentially the whole idea is that he can defeat anyone in one punch. And I remember seeing a clip where some guy was like jumping around him doing some mad ninjutsu shit, and he slowly lands on this guy's fist on his nuts. It's one of those ones where I know that I have to watch it, but I know that when I do, I'm going to end up binging it, and I only have so much time. So
you'll binge it. Trust me, I did. Yeah. I binged it while driving a semi.
Yeah, it looks funny as hell, so I definitely need to watch that.
No, when it comes to anime, I try getting into it, and I legit do enjoy it. But after like 3 or 4 episodes, I end up getting lazy or bored and just stop watching it for like 3 months, and then I just go back to it.
Yeah, well, I know I mentioned
but
Naruto at one point, and I got to tell you. Now I've gone back and started watching like the original episodes, and I got to tell you, it definitely has its moments that I like as far as some of the intrigue behind the story. But the biggest problem with Naruto, Saitama, that's it. That was his name. I'm not going to forget that again, damn it. But the biggest problem with especially the early Naruto series is that they have this way of showing you the exact same fucking flashback that you've seen over and over, like 10 times in a row within 2 episodes. Like
that's mostly the bullshit filler episodes.
Yeah, I know exactly why they're doing it. And see, the thing is, they even did it in the main canon as well. And I know why they're doing it. They're basically just trying to cut down on animation costs and boost their ability to put out episodes faster. Which, whatever, man. But if I'm watching the same damn flashback that I saw like 5 times ago in the previous episode, like why does everything you say to these characters invoke a memory that they remember super hard, so that they're standing with their mouth agape for like 10 fucking minutes while they're remembering the same thing you've seen like 1,000 times.
Hey, Hand, we got a new guy.
Oh,
Hi.
wait.
Oh, hey, Morley Gray, man, what's up?
Good. I'm getting sick, but yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
I have a cold.
Yeah. How's the job hunt going, man?
Terribly, but it's all good. So yeah. Yeah.
Right on. You know what, man? I'm not even sure that I ever asked you what part of our planet are you out of anyway?
Australia?
Australia? Yeah, that's what I figured. Like, usually I can place an accent, but with you, for some reason, I couldn't.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
So basically, we've just been taking Q&A for everybody here. Once again, I don't know if you caught the first part of the live stream, but I have my friend Raymond here. We've been lifelong friends for quite a while. He's the guy that I was talking about in my first two videos. Like, I don't know if you saw the second one where Michael Rowland's friend Tim decided he was going to try to call me a Nazi sympathizer because he was saying that, I was saying that people with disabilities are like monstrosities and that they need to be, they need to be killed off and all this bullshit. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What? Anyway, yeah.
But yeah.
Real
Ray
quick,
here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Talk about Ray.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Nice to meet you. I'm Ray.
Yeah. Ray here was born with quite a few, different birth defects and things that have they've made his life pretty difficult in a way that I know a lot of other people, if they had to live his life, they wouldn't have been able to, do it with the amount of strength and integrity that he has. And ever since that I mentioned him in my second video, there's been a lot of people that have been wanting to see him on live stream. I always intended to bring him on, but I was kind of reluctant about hosting my own live stream for a while, so I figured, 20,000 subscriber special, I might as well do something out of the ordinary. So, Ray, this is Gray. Gray, this is Ray.
Hello.
Hi, Ray. Also, one thing I gotta say, congrats for 20K. That's a pretty reasonable milestone.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That's a very good milestone.
Yeah. What do you do hanging out with fools like me?
Hey, man, I'm looking to build bridges anywhere that I can make them. But the sub count has definitely gone up a lot faster than I would have expected. I've had a few, valleys wherein it didn't really move very fast between YouTube's subscriber quote unquote glitch and all this shit. And it seems whatever I'm doing
out of hell.
Yeah. Seems whatever I'm doing is working, but I still don't exactly have a hang on this whole algorithm thing yet. But it'll come in time, I guess.
I don't think anybody does. Ever since Adpocalypse, everyone's freaking out.
People are
keep your eyes on Pure Carbon. He dropped some hints.
Oh, really?
Pure Carbon?
Pure Carbon. He's with me on he follows me on Twitter, and I'm subscribed to him on YouTube. You'll just find him under Pure Carbon. He's dropped some hints that he's broken the algorithm, at least for ads.
Well, that's interesting. Okay.
Right.
Like Hugh Janus here says, I want to see Ray kick Tim and Michael's ass so hard their dragon dildos fall out.
That's genius.
Yeah, I don't think I want to see their dragon dildos in any context, even with them getting their asses whooped. But
I'll watch a blurred out video of it.
Right, exactly.
I watched an interesting video that broke down Michael Rowland's, and we're just like, dude, you realize that Michael Rowland's, for all his statements of like, we're against internet harassment, he's actually, by his own definitions, an internet harasser.
Oh yeah. He already busted that whole group up the ass.
I mean, it's not too hard to come to conclusions on that. It's really funny to find out that his own conclusions, in fact, support that. So,
right.
Yeah, he's a funny.
I go by the old Abraham Lincoln adage of "I judge others by their own morals," and they're still pieces of shit.
Right. Vic is dead asks, do you upload to any YouTube alternatives like vid.me? And like, no, I don't just yet, but I've actually had a lot of people tell me that I should. And frankly, with the way YouTube has been behaving lately, like I basically got hit by their massive, demonetization thing recently as well. Like a few of my videos have not been demonetized, but literally anything and everything that has even slightly anything to do with this SJW debate, they've demonetized. And even trying to dispute any of these claims, you might as well be talking to a brick wall. I mean, there's no way to talk to them about it. So I probably start building contingency plans here. Yeah, I'll probably end up making like a VidMe account and a few others around just in case that happens. But I still got to say, I don't want to see a lot of us abandon YouTube, not if for nothing else in the fact that, they're basically showing their bias, but even though they still are the biggest platform out there, and
they've got a perfect setup. They really do.
Yeah.
I mean, for nothing else, I just don't want to see too many of us jump ship and let the fucking SJWs who are here have their way with it, especially since YouTube is directly pandering to them right now. We need as much resistance here against those fuckwits as we can possibly.
I agree with you, but I don't know if it's that useful, but nevertheless. What?
Real quick, guys. Hellraiser a while back asked a question.
Will
if any of you guys have been commercial fishermen or something else along those lines, but the other one I don't remember. But I just wanted to answer it because I used to be a commercial fisherman myself, and that is one hell of a job.
How long were you doing it for?
I did it for about 6 years. I just caught bait shrimp, and only once did I go out into the Gulf of Mexico, and I fucking hated it. You're stuck with a bunch of crackheads and potheads and people that don't know how to hold their shit.
I bet it took a lot out of you too.
Yeah.
Sounds like my university experience.
No, these are crackheads that 4 days in don't have a crack rock. That's the problem.
Yeah. That'd be a problem.
Andrew Shepard said that cursor icon you use on your thumbnails is going to be enough to get you black holed, my dude. Yeah, you're probably right, considering damn near every thumbnail that I have has a raging middle finger on it.
Hey, fun fact about black holes. Scientifically, they had to change them to brown holes because they don't absorb all material. Some escapes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. They changed the name to brown holes.
I'm going to need to see some sources on that, man. Because the last I heard, the whole idea was that anything that moves past the event horizon, the only way to escape it is if you're moving faster than the speed of light. And as far as we know, nothing moves faster than the speed of light.
Electrons escape it, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If you have a source on that, I'd be curious to see it.
Well, there are things that do escape a black hole. The very at the poles at the top and bottom, if you can even call it top and bottom in space.
Right.
But you do have jets of high, unbelievably powerful radiation coming straight out from the tops of them.
Right.
So you do have things escaping.
Yeah, that's essentially how you get quasars and lasers and whatever. Yeah.
Oh, Micah Zimmer asks, I know this was yesterday. I know this will be sensitive to a lot of people, but where, as in like software, were you on 9/11?
Where was I?
I don't remember.
I was climbing scaffolding in my house as it's being built, angrily annoyed that my children's TV programs were being taken over by a tragedy.
Yeah.
That's where I was.
My story was unfortunate because I believe that was my sophomore year in high school, and I was just walking into my honors English class, and I had no idea what was going on. I hadn't heard any of the news broadcasts or anything, but I walk in the room, and we have a TV plugged in, so I assume that we're going to be watching some kind of lecture video or something, and they're playing the news footage, and again, I didn't know what's happening. So I'm seeing like these explosions on the Twin Towers, and I very insensitively ask, like, what? I can't remember what movie it was some action movie at the time. I'm like, oh my God, are we watching Die Hard? I didn't say Die Hard, but whatever the fuck it was at the time. Are we watching Die Hard today? That's fucking awesome. And everybody looked at me like I just, was at a funeral and I just stepped on the corpse's face or something. And I'm like, what's going on? And then like finally people start telling me, water. Oh yeah. Then when people start telling me, oh my God, I felt like such a dick. But yeah.
Hey, it's still better than Family Guys. Must have been a woman driver.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking gross.
Oh my God. Yeah, the fact that Peter Griffin.
There's a question for Ray here from Kathy.
Yep.
Ray, if you could change anything about your life, ... would you?
I would actually have to answer that and say no, I wouldn't. Plain and simple.
Interesting.
No, I wouldn't. Even though, I'm dealing with some crazy stuff right now, personal reasons, whatnot, I wouldn't change anything.
See, man, there, it's that attitude. That's exactly why I mentioned you in that second video. I mean, I've known a lot of other people that have grown up with disabilities, and I mean, obviously, your case was the most intense out of all of them. But that was not really the reason that I brought you up. You have that way of taking everything in stride, regardless of what life gives you, and that's something you've always had that I've admired, because I like most of my problems are psychiatric, and it becomes difficult for me to handle life at times. So yeah, if I could just borrow that ability of yours for a while, that would do me a lot of good.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm your friend, and I try to stick by your side and keep you going. But
Right, I appreciate it.
Back
That
in
is a
high
really interesting response, though, because like you have when we're talking about disabilities, we obviously call them disabilities for a reason.
Right.
So you're obviously disadvantaged by having these, but you wouldn't. Why? If you had the chance to completely eliminate them, why wouldn't you? Would you consider it a case of like learning to love chains, or like?
Yeah.
Not to be offensive, but I'm just serious. Like, that's a really interesting answer that you've given. I don't think people understand how interesting that is.
Well, I'll try my best to give you a perspective on how I look at it.
Yeah.
This is the only life I know. Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
there might be a life after I'm there. There might have been a life before I was in this life. Whatever you guys want to believe in. But why am I going to wish upon something, or man, I wish I had legs, or I wish I had fingers, or I wish I was taller? I'm not going to experience that life anyways. That's just a lot of like, I wish this, I wish that, and that's not going to help anything. This is the life I have now. This is what I know. So I'm not going to waste my energy on wishing on something that I'm not going to know.
Right.
Now, I won't lie. If there was a magic wand or something like that, hey, bam, give me some legs. Sure, why not? But we don't live in that world, so
Not yet, anyway. Yeah, I think that's basically what it boils down to, man. It's basically a question of personal philosophy. You have a lot of people who will have the question asked to them, if you could change something in your life, would you change it? And a lot of people will jump to saying yes, but they do so without really realizing that a lot of the things they've gone through, especially the shitty things they've gone through, is responsible for the person that they became in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of hindsight being 2020.
Yeah.
Well, I have an interesting thing. But it was right before high school. But I had a friend who was in a wheelchair. But before he was my friend, he was this total prick of he had a degenerative knee disorder.
Yeah.
But he was a total prick of a person, right? Always. And everybody would let him get away with it. Oh, he's in a wheelchair. He's this, that, the other. And one day I got fed up with it, and I just pulled him right out of the fucking wheelchair and threw him to the ground and yelled in his face.
That would have made you real popular.
No, here's the funny thing. After that, he liked me because I was the only person there who wasn't willing to give him a pass just because he's in a fucking wheelchair.
Right. I would have done the same thing, and actually I have in high school too. I'm
throwing a person
disabled.
out of a wheelchair.
Yeah,
damn.
I mean,
you insensitive person, you.
Oh, jeez. I don't ask for nothing. I don't want no pity.
Right, exactly. I mean, that was essentially the point that I tried to make in those original videos. I actually got a pushback from a few people in the comments. They're telling me, well, I can pity him and admire him at the same time. I'm like, well, yeah, man, but you basically got to realize, man, when you're dealing with somebody like that, and they're doing everything they can to overcome the adversity that's been pitted against them, they don't want your pity. If anything, they want your respect. And I guess it's hard to really know that unless you've grown up next to somebody like that. It's you can make that kind of connection, but it's the fact.
Yeah.
Well, pity ends up doing to like my friend in the wheelchair, makes him lash out and become an asshole.
Oh golly.
No, that's what I've noticed.
Sorry, say that again. Can you repeat that for me?
Well, like my friend in the wheelchair, what it did to him was it caused him to lash out, and he became a total asshole until people started to stand up to him. That's the problem with pity. You don't actually take their personal interest and ideas and thoughts on the matter into thought. You just look at their body and go, oh, it's sad.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, as a person who has difficulty It's a disability, but social disability. Socializing with other people. I don't want pity at all. I just want to be understood, you know?
Yeah.
I find it weird myself. I think I said that. Yeah, I said this before when we did the mental illness collab.
Yeah.
I've never had any type of real mental illness or depression or societal disorders. Anything, honestly. Never.
You told us.
But oddly enough, I find I am better at handling people with these disorders than a lot of people with these disorders, and it's fucking weird.
Right.
Makes sense. I actually understand that.
And this guy says, and thank you for saying my name right. How do you pronounce your name, buddy?
Yeah.
Like,
Micah Zimmer. Yeah. Yeah, your name's honestly not that. Yeah, your name's not that difficult to pronounce, man. I've seen a few names that I had to like double check. Like even that last. Oh man, what was his name? One of the last couple of people that signed up for my Patreon, I had to go and actually double check with him. What was his name? Lucien Dossier. Yeah, that was his name. Like there was no way I was going to try to spitball that one without actually asking him. Like, does this look? Or is this actually pronounced how it looks or not? And my guess was right, but I had to make sure.
Another question for you, Ray.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What? Ray or Gray?
The Hellraiser.
I love that name.
Yeah.
The question is basically, with your outlook on disabilities, have you done any work with disabled vets or other people with disabilities, to help accept and work with theirs? When I was in Oklahoma, when I was living in Oklahoma, and I haven't done anything since then, which is like almost 7 years now, there will be a couple weeks every summer. We have like disability camps and whatnot. Being a motivational speaker, just hanging out, give them some good, outlooks, or just say, hey, don't stop. You can do this. You can do that. Whether if you're wheelchair bound, there's wheelchair sports. I haven't noticed much here. Maybe it's just because I haven't looked anywhere in Colorado, but Oklahoma was definitely big in disabled events, disability events, disabled vets. They had wheelchair basketballs. I mean, it was definitely a lot bigger turnout there than I have seen here in Colorado. I like to get into it because I do miss it. I like to help people and motivate others. I mean, there are others that are worse off than me that can do more than I can, so.
Right. Well, I know that when we were in elementary school, you were part of the Big Brother program, and I know whoever it was that was assigned to you at the time showed up to, I think it was Mrs. Daly's class a few times.
Yes.
Like, I know your history with that. I'm surprised you didn't end up getting into that program yourself and giving back.
Well, I don't know if you know this. Just a couple of weeks ago, I actually got involved with youth bowling coaching. So every Saturday morning, I go out there and I help with the youth kids. And these kids are like, 3 and 4 years old, all the way up to 9 and 10. So I do that. That's the most recent thing I've done. So that's good.
Yeah, I know you've been into the bowling thing pretty heavy lately. That's for sure.
Yep.
Basically, have the hand made for it and fucking 3 fingers, 3 holes, perfect.
Yep. Just give me a few more months and I'll be up there on TV. So.
Right on.
Oh
man.
my god!
I'm just kidding.
I never thought of that with the bowling ball.
Yeah, it works out, man.
One of these days I'll have to maybe do a small clip or something like that and let him take over it or whatever. I think that'd be pretty cool to show people.
Well, yeah, man, especially considering, if you're into the whole youth bowling thing as well, if you can attract any attention to disabled kids who are wanting to get into that. I mean, I know when you were a kid around here, the news media was wanting to cover you a lot of the time, and I'm sure they definitely probably want to get coverage of that as well. So,
well, have you guys ever seen this? It was pretty amazing. I learned about it on the old Arthur TV show when I was a kid.
Oh boy!
But apparently, it's an actual thing. Blind soccer.
Oh, nice.
That is real. That is interesting. I have seen it. Yeah.
Now I don't understand that. I got to see it for myself because
They have
that's
beavers
amazing.
in the soccer ball, man. It's incredible.
Guys, I will be right back. Not
Right on,
talking
man.
much, but I need to do a few things.
All right, cool, man. We'll be here.
So I'm just gonna put myself on mute.
Will235 asks, "Who are your favorite YouTubers?" Well, obviously, you know, some of the bigger names in our camp, like you know, Bering and Sargon and Vakad for sure. But you know, outside of this discussion, I would have to say, I like watching. There's one in particular, it's not really its own channel. It's part of a channel called Aw Me, called DIY Prop Shop, where essentially people make movie props and cosplay props and whatnot on the cheap. I love things like that. There's another guy who his name is Jurg Sprava, I believe his name is, but he just goes by the Slingshot channel. This guy,
Oh, that guy's wonderful.
that guy is amazing. If there is ever a zombie holocaust, I'm finding that guy because the dude can whip together a slingshot out of anything, and every one of them are fucking deadly. Like, I don't know if you saw like one of his recent videos where he made a or he amped up a what was it was some kind of a air dart rifle or something that in Germany it's legally considered a toy because the dart passes over the barrel instead of through it. But the way he amped it up, it was so powerful that he shot through like 2 archery mats, a fucking car door, and a riot shield all at the same time. Scary motherfucker, and he is amazing. I'd love to meet that guy. And also, there's a guy I know a lot of people probably won't like him, but I had a lot of friends in high school that would essentially do stupid shit for our group's entertainment. You know, if we basically just go to them and do it. So there's a guy that goes by the name LA Beast.
Yes.
Hey,
and
real quick, I gotta point this out.
Yeah,
Gabe the Samurai says my high school basketball team lost to a deaf school.
outstanding.
There you go. Well, you don't. I'm sorry, basketball. You don't need ears for that. You just need your eyes.
I was just thinking it'd be wonderful if they lost to a blind basketball team.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised there's not an anime out there for that. Because I know every now and again you'll see an anime that's way over the top, but it's based on a common sport, like basketball or soccer or something along those lines. I'm surprised I haven't seen that one yet.
I looked at the basketball anime, and my God, it's way over the top.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, that's all right. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah, LA Beast. Yeah, he is hilarious, but it's definitely like, you know, frat boy humor. Like the guy, he's eating cactus like live on camera and fucking every time go watch his videos. You definitely have to have a taste for it, you know, watching people do stupid shit. And I actually sent an idea to Morley Gray and another YouTuber by the name of Squatting Erudite, I believe his name is.
Oh, yes. I think I suggested him to you, right?
Yeah, about continuing my existential crisis series and basically covering concepts of why we behave the way we do as humans. And I kind of have
Where'd Raymond go?
Oh shit, he dropped out. I'll see if I can get a hold of him again. But yeah, I was going to try to cover the concept of, for instance, why so many people enjoy watching people do stupid shit. You know, and I have my own pet theories about that. You know, Squatting Erudite would prefer that I say hypothesis, but yeah. So I passed that on to him. I'm currently going to basically take some of his suggestions, looking to do some research and continue the series that way. But yeah, if you haven't seen LA Beast and you want a good laugh because people do stupid shit, go watch his channel. It's funny as hell.
I'm back and I love LA Beast.
Yeah, LA Beast is glorious.
Also, Arsene Bjork, you guys, anyone who hasn't watched Arsene Bjork needs to check out his shit.
For me, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Okay, for me, I'd have to suggest Fluffy Talks. Apparently, him and Andy Worski actually worked on a skit together. But Fluffy Talks does things like world's worst cakes, body hair, unibrows, all these kinds of things like this. And it's just wonderful, the weird shit he finds. World's worst tattoos.
My face when I chose a horrible time to start eating.
Right. And he's just some Canadian who does some funny stuff like this. And he's just always fun to watch some stupidity happen. You know, pictures of stupid people looking stupid.
Right. Yeah, that's probably why I recommend LA Beast and a couple other people like him. Like I said, I have my favorites in our particular community, but I, just like everybody else, have to take a mental break from the SJW bullshit that I see every day. Otherwise, I'm gonna fucking go insane. So I'll just sit back and
Pokemon theories.
Pokemon theories.
Yeah, it's a guy who does nothing but he talks about Pokemon theories, and he shit talks on a lot of the new Pokemon too.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, Arson, guy I mentioned earlier, he actually did a video on how 721 Pokemon would lose to a billion lions.
You guys should watch things like CGP Grey, Kazergestadt. Fucking love Kazergestadt. Holy shit, they're great. They're so fun. They like to work out how to kill things with stupid math. So they're really ridiculous. Just like, what would happen if we brought a portion of the sun to Earth? Weird things like that.
Right. Oh, God.
Right, but who else is there? Ooh, East Side SCPs.
Oh, and Mouthy Buddha. Fucking love Mouthy Buddha.
So many people that I've either heard of but haven't had a chance to see, or haven't heard of at all. I'm gonna have to go back through this video later and go look up a lot of these people.
What's that chick's name?
Oh, you got
Rachel there. You know I'm broke as fuck, but I love what you do.
Yeah, Rachel's a personal friend of mine. I've known her since my call center days, and yeah, the funny thing is she started off more as a feminist than anything, or at least somebody who kind of identified with the feminist mindset for a while there. And so we've kind of had our arguments. I mean, we've had some pretty bad ones, but over time, I guess as she paid more attention to it, she started understanding and started seeing the shit that I'm seeing, and she pretty much agrees with what I do now. I've tried to convince her
crasher.
I got a what now?
A stream crasher, somebody trying to leech subs off you by advertising this channel.
Oh, fantastic.
Sweet.
Oh my god, I'm giving away 3 iPhone 7s plus to my last 3 subscribers. You still have just to win right now, so subscribe!
Yeah, that's fucking adorable.
Kill yourself.
Like, come on, man, if you're gonna do that, man, try to leash on somebody that has more subs than me, man, for fuck's sake. Don't get yourself black. Right, exactly. I mean, I know I have a decent amount, but not enough that you're going to be able to successfully leech very many off of.
Kill yourself.
Or some shit.
Right. My God, fucking sub vampires. All right. Yeah, I've gotten a few of them in my comments section before too. I mean, usually, and that's another thing that I don't really understand about YouTube. It has a way of labeling certain comments automatically as spam before you even go to review them, and a great deal of them, they won't be spam at all. Like, I have no idea where the hell they got it, but every now and again you'll see those ones that are very obviously spam, and they'll show up. So I guess it's doing its job, kind of, sort of, but it's a little bit
on my shitty channel that happens.
Yeah, it's a little bit overkill. YouTube, you can dial that back just a little bit.
I still have the issues of phantom comments just vanishing or never showing up at all. That's still a thing.
Yeah, same here. And I only got 170 subs.
Fucking Gems 15, way to get exposure to all 34 people watching. It's up to 34, was it? Yeah, when we first started this, it was only at like 10 or so, and I was fine with that. So, yeah, I guess they're not as ridiculous as I thought they were, but yeah, it's still pretty damn ridiculous.
Mr. Zimmer, Micah Zimmer, right? Micah?
Yep, that's it.
How did you find YouTube?
How did I find YouTube? I mean, it's YouTube, man. How do you find the sun?
That is a good point, but he spelt it like a ticket fine, so he may have done an error in spelling, maybe something else.
I mean, do you mean like how did I get started on YouTube? Oh, Rachel says I red pilled her. I'm not really one to use that term, but I find it to be an honor, Rachel. Yes.
Speaking of which, Hand, have you gotten to watching the Red Pill yet?
No, not yet, man. I still need to do that. Like I've been hoping that it would show up on Netflix, but I
doubt it.
Yeah, last I heard, it was like available on like Amazon or whatever. Yeah, I've been meaning to get around to it. I just haven't had the chance yet. But yeah, a lot of people tell me I need to watch that.
I try. That costs so much shit over here, man.
Oh yeah,
so much.
I
Much
saw
shit.
that. Oh,
Like,
what's his name? The
my
fucking
God.
what's his name? The goddamn dude who narrates like lizard videos and Mexican weather ladies.
What the fuck?
Okay. I've got nothing. I don't know what you're talking about now.
I don't know. He narrates a lot of funny shit and it's hilarious.
right.
Well, you know what?
Awesome.
What on
He did a
on YouTube?
yeah on YouTube and Facebook and all of them. God, I'm sub to him. I can't remember his name. He's super famous, but
Friendly your Geordies?
no.
But you know what? All I can say is, if something as stupid as Dear White People can be on Netflix, I highly doubt that. Fucking
I haven't watched that, but I'm interested in seeing if it actually is ridiculous.
Aussie Man Reviews. Yeah, Hellraiser got me.
Him.
He actually did a review. One of his Aussie Man review videos included the two incredibly dumb news anchors going, well, we haven't gotten the video. We haven't gotten the movie.
Yes, Sunrise. Sunrise, yeah.
Yeah.
They've done a number of things like that. It's not the first time.
Yeah, even Aussie Man Reviews with his mainstreamness had to shit on them for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, guys, speaking of the sun, this guy, Jason Goff, says, speaking of the sun, did any of you see the eclipse? I'll go first. I did not. Well, I did, but it was incredibly disappointing from where I live.
No, I actually slept through the eclipse because my sleep schedule is fucking amazing. But no, I didn't see the eclipse, but I did see Donald Trump staring at the eclipse after multiple warnings not to. You know, love or hate the guy, there was no way he wasn't going to catch shit over that.
No, that was fake news. What he did is he took a second to look at it without shades on, which I'll be honest, I would have done in a second because
Yeah.
I know, man. But look at his position. I mean, you know, there are people out there just waiting for photo ops. They're like, you take even a fraction of a second to do that, you just know it's going to be on tabloids everywhere. Fucking idiot stares directly at eclipse.
Our president is blind now. Well, our president is blind now. OMG.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see that. I'm surprised I didn't see that floating around in the tabloids.
Yeah.
A little while back, I think I saw another question for me. Where was it? Yeah, I don't even know how he pronounces it. PLKBY0. He asks, do you think it would be a smart idea for a youngster like myself, I'm 16, to start an anti-SJW channel? I mean,
depends on your points.
Yeah, it really depends on your points, man. But honestly, I'm disheartened by the fact that this kind of shit is even affecting people at 16. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you're 16 or younger, you shouldn't even have to worry about shit like this. But it's being force fed into the school systems. I mean, there's people in elementary schools right now that are essentially being taught right from the get go that if they're white, they're privileged and all this bullshit.
Look, California and New York City had little white boys going home crying their eyes out because of this shit. Did you see that?
Yeah, yeah, I totally saw that. I mean, I would say this, man. If you want to start a YouTube channel, by my experience, the sooner you start it, the better. You know, because it's just based on that. The first video where I mentioned the series Kim Possible, and that turned into a big shitstorm because there were a lot of fans that were pissed at me. But you know, I saw a lot of this shit starting to form years ago, even before, you know, the term SJW started and everything. And I honestly wish that I'd thrown my hat in the ring earlier. So if you want to start it this early, I would say so, but just enjoy your youth, man. I mean, don't let this shit consume you this young.
Yeah. Real quick, by the way, you got to pretend alt-right troll in your chat too now, the liberal team.
Oh, outstanding.
Well, pretend KKK member. There is a difference. I should make the distinction.
Right. Oh my God.
Be incendiary. Make no distinction. Call them all the same thing.
Yep. Oh Lord.
The worst part of this stuff is my little cousin Mateo is actually being picked on by a couple black kids for being white, and the school doesn't do anything about it. He's in 8th grade, I think.
Oh, well, is this in a big city?
No.
What the fuck?
Wait, what's going on? What did I miss?
His little, you tell it.
My little cousin's being bullied for being white.
I mean,
In a relatively small town too.
yeah, it's no surprise to me, man. I mean, this shit does happen. You know, the fucking media and these SJW pushers will have you believe that the only people out there who are getting bullied are those who aren't white and only by white people, and it's bullshit. I mean, race relations have been fucked up in this country for a long time. It's just only certain sides of it really ever get any kind of exposure. So it doesn't surprise me in the least. I mean,
well, they did a study on bullying. You know who are the most bullied kids in the world? Little fat fucks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't fat back in school days.
Yeah, it's the little fat kids that are bullied.
I had to wait until I became an adult to become fat.
Right. I didn't really start getting particularly fat until my late years in high school, but by then I had much worse problems to worry about than just that. So.
But I don't know. You can't be racist to white people.
Oh,
Right.
well, it's funny because I watched a Red Robot video about this a while back ago, and Red Robot's undeniably on the right, and he'll admit to you about that. But he said, a lot of the shit that, for example, Sargon of Akkad has been saying as of 2016, we've been saying, the people on the right, like I am, I'm just barely to the right, but we've been telling motherfuckers about this for years. And it had to get so bad that it was almost violent, and then it became violent for people to recognize it.
Right.
Oh God, the liberal teen. I'll do this in my voice, that voice I did. I got bullied by trannies because I got therapy instead of chopping off my tits.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah, I gotta say, this political environment is just a fucking paradise for trolls. It doesn't matter, because the people that we're addressing, they have long ago started resembling the fucking parodies of them. And I've already told several people several times, like, and I made that video responding to what was her name, Professor Sonia or whatever, and then called it Professor. Yeah, Professor Sonia and her golden snatch. There's so many people. Yeah, there were so many people that came talking about, well, this is satire, right? And blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It's not the fact that she's saying it. It's the fact that there are people out there who actually believe what she's saying, and I stand by this. Your opponent's arguments do not become satire simply because they're coming out of your mouth. That's not how satire works. Okay.
Well, there's an old quote on this. It's perfect. A society that gets its kicks off pretending to be idiots will soon be surrounded by idiots that think they're in good company.
Right. It's a problem.
I gotta write that down.
I don't remember who said it, but he hit the nail on the head.
For sure. So, Gray, I know we definitely need to collab soon. Whenever you're through with the job search and things get through. But what future plans do you have for your channel, man?
Well, I've got 2 videos at the moment. I'm just going to do a real quick one asking why the fuck anyone gives any shits at all about PewDiePie. Although there is a very serious thing that is taking place with PewDiePie, and that would be the DMCA bullshit.
Right.
Because I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys actually follow much of the bullshit. Do you guys watch Total Biscuit?
Yeah, off and on.
Okay. Have you ever listened to Total Biscuit make fairly interesting arguments and go through the interesting arguments as to why streamers are actually violating DMCA?
Yeah, I've heard him mention it before.
No.
Yeah, okay. Now that's not to say that Total Biscuit believes this. What I'm saying is that there are, in fact, there is in fact an argument you could make for DMCAing streamers, because it's not really their content, etc., etc. Does it fall under fair use? Who knows, etc., etc. Now, the thing is that the Firewatch devs have DMCA'd him because he said nigger on the chat.
Right.
Whatever. Okay, I don't care. I seriously don't give a shit.
Right.
Whatever. But the thing is now that they've filed a DMCA, everyone is focusing on the nigger thing. But really, they should be focusing on the DMCA thing,
yeah, for sure.
DMCA thing. See, if PewDiePie does anything with this, and says, okay, I'll challenge you on this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or if any of this goes to court, you could effectively set a legal precedent where streaming could be illegal. Like, that's a possibility if you go down that path.
Yeah.
That's really fucking terrifying.
Right,
Well,
I agree.
H3 one, I think, destroys that. In
No,
the sense
no, it
that,
doesn't.
Well,
No.
let me say this though, that they are providing commentary and their own view on the content, and therefore they are changing it a bit. So I believe that argument can be made so long as they are consistently providing commentary. If they're just one of them silent ones doing it, they might get fucked.
Right. I mean, honestly, I'm of the personal opinion that, I mean, I haven't spent really too much time examining the politics and economics of video games lately, but I gotta say, I mean, especially when it comes to platforms like Steam and the fact that a lot of the indie developers are starting to get momentum, kind of like the days in the mid to late 80s, when things were pretty experimental. I think that all these streamers are out there right now. They're providing, regardless of what you think of them, they provide a necessary culture that gets a lot of these people exposure. So honestly, I think that the worst thing that could happen as far as they're concerned with the video game industry is one of the bigger fish out there to, file a class action lawsuit that actually outlaws streaming in all of its forms. All it's really going to end up doing is hurting them in the PR. It's all it's going to do.
And the market.
Right. The only time I watch video game streams or videos is when I want to buy the game or I want to learn how to more effectively play it. That's what most people do.
Right.
They're interested in the game, they watch it, or like me, for example, BioShock, I just got the game.
Right.
I have been watching videos of it for years because I simply could not afford the game.
Right.
I was that poor.
Right.
But and then I finally got the chance, and because I've been watching the videos, I know how hyped up it is and how cool it is.
Right. And that's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, it might protect their intellectual property, but at the same time, it's also going to hurt their sales, because we were talking about, BioShock before we even started the stream here. And I got to tell you, had I not seen the videos of it, I probably wouldn't have bought it as quickly as I did. All you're really doing is robbing yourself of exposure as a developer if you do that. It's a classical case of picking your fucking battles,
Well, they're doing this because of ideological reasons, not realizing that they're gonna fucking kill themselves.
Right.
Guys, before we say anything else, I gotta ask, because I've been looking at the chat. Are traps gay?
Yes.
Very.
Yeah.
I'm not
definitively.
Think about that. Sorry, but yes.
What do you think, Raymond?
Hey, Ray, you still there, man?
Yeah, I'm still here.
No.
Yeah. Did you hear the question?
No.
Yeah. Are traps gay? I think somebody might need to explain to him what a trap is.
That's what I was wondering. Did he have somebody that doesn't know?
Yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't really seem to pay attention to this debate too much. And frankly, part of me definitely envies him for it, because if I could ignore this shit, I totally would.
I mean, yeah.
It is. It totally is.
It has a penis. It's gay.
Are they a male that wants to have sex
Well,
with
it's basically, a man becomes a female, and
what they say? There are
no. A trap is specifically a man that looks like a female to seduce you while it's still male and still identifies as male.
Oh, like the video I sent you earlier.
Yeah, you motherfucker.
It's basically a convincing pretty cross-dresser.
Right.
But
like most Japanese bands.
Yeah.
Kind of.
The fact is, if you are biologically still a male and you want to have sex with another male, then by definition, you are gay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think about it, whatever moral implications come with it, or I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm just concerned with maintaining coherent definitions of words. And in this case, yes.
And you know what they say?
My bad. White privilege question.
Oh, dude.
Oh, white privilege? Yeah.
What's up?
Hand, what do you think of this? I'm 13. I'm white. Jesus, you're watching our content. You're 13. Anyway.
I know, right? That's exactly what I'm talking about.
It's trying to convince me that I'm a bad person for being a white guy.
Honestly, man, I think you should be getting your parents involved in that. And if I were your parents, I would take that as high court as I had to fucking fight that shit being taught in your schools. That's what I want to see. I want to see pushback against this shit being taught in schools.
Oh, the liberal teen that the previous KKK shouter-outer just said, doesn't Blair have a pussy, though? No, Blair has a penis, guys.
Yeah, Blair White's still pre-op, isn't? Yeah.
Penis.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Blair doesn't want to have the surgery because surgical vaginas can actually close up on you like a wound.
Yeah, but as far as we're talking about Blair White here, I mean, Blair White's a perfect example. If you start thinking about these things from a moral, perspective, and you start letting the the politically correct zeitgeist that's surrounding all this influence your answers as to whether or not you think a trap is gay. I mean, ultimately, yeah, I do, but it's not to say anything morally. Blair White has all of my respect in the world, and it has nothing to do with her being a tranny or anything. It has nothing to do with that.
Right. Blair White will say that she's biologically male, and I'll call Blair White she because Blair White gives other people respect, and she gives me the respect of admitting she's male.
Exactly, right. It's again, if you are defining yourself as a person by what you are biologically or what you're transitioning into, then frankly, you need to do some self-reflection because it shouldn't matter that much to you. I care much more about your ideas than I do about what's hanging between your fucking legs.
The liberal teen says I'd still bang Blair, and I can't get hard either. I think Blair can get hard. She has a boyfriend.
Dude, I know
either way.
I know very, very straight guys who have openly said to me, "Oh, I would totally bang Blair White." So, I mean, you're not exactly in the minority there, man.
I might let Blair suck my dick. It's about it.
I would in a second, but you know what they say? There are no chicks with dicks.
I don't think I've ever seen any pictures or videos of anything of Blair White prior to the transition because I want to know how she got to that point. Because when I first heard Blair
she has
White,
a video about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to see this because when I first heard, Blair White is a man, I did a double take. I'm like, are you sure? So
most of it is makeup effects and sitting. You know how she sits at that specific side angle most of the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's makeup effects with a side angle, so it makes the features more curvy looking, more feminine looking.
Not anymore. She got surgery.
Right. And on top of that, she has a video. It's looking at my pre-op photos with my boyfriend or something like that.
Right.
And apparently somewhere there's leaked photos of Blair White's penis.
I want to see that.
Right. I mean,
I don't care.
Blair White is not the only super convincing, tranny that I've ever seen, but she's definitely the most convincing Western one. That's for sure. If there's any country out there that has people that have mastered the art of trapping, it's Japan. Oh my God.
No. Perhaps I would say Japan. Trannies is Brazil.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. All I know is I have
sure about that. What about Thailand? You ever been to Pattaya Beach before? I'm pretty sure that's
good
yeah.
Point.
You got lady boys, mate.
I think Brazil trannies and Thailand ladyboys need to have a death match.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know. All I know is I want to meet one of these people that's super convincing like that, and there's not even any moral implications to that. I just want to shake their hands and be like, as a makeup artist, you are you are just that. You are an artist.
Oh God! Speaking of which, trucker, tell Gray about the video I sent you.
Oh, you bastard! It was this video of this naked chick playing with herself, sucking on her fingers and stuff, and looking in the camera.
Cool. Sweet.
And no, with big tits, nice big perky, perfect looking tits.
Yeah, you're
perfect
selling
feminine face. Stands up and it's got a foot-long dick.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. God damn it.
Yep. God damn it, Di. God damn it.
Yeah, well, that's how you learn that lesson the hard way, man. Anytime you see a video like that coming from Ty, just fucking be prepared because something's going to happen that's just not acceptable to you.
Well,
Right now.
Well, it had the title "LOL, Pass It On" that he wrote
Of
in
course
there.
it did.
So
well,
I
I
was worried.
am full of surprises, so yeah.
Kidding me? That's
Hey, Vika's dead ass is Futa gay.
I love Fuda. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is gay. It's gay.
All right,
I
Tyler.
don't know.
I'm not sure I'm familiar with that term. What is that?
It's anime girls with huge penises.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, considering they are not real people, I'm going to go ahead and say you call it whatever you want. It's lines on paper
Max-
is what it is.
Penis
Max
is the size
versus
of
Futa is life.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, lines on paper can still be gay. Like you can have pretty gay furry porn. Like
Well, sure.
Dick clits.
Yeah. Okay. Is the portrayal or what it's trying to portray gay? Yes.
Yes, very.
But if they're actually trying to say, are these people quote unquote gay?
Oh.
Well, they're not real people.
Oh.
So
Hey, real quick, Gems 15 points out a very good point. They have both genitalia.
Actually, some do, some don't. Some have dicks and balls. Some have vaginas with dicks for
Giant
clits.
dicks coming out of them.
right.
Yeah.
I came across that shit. I like to go on Pornhub and just click random shit until I find the weirdest, freakiest porn. That's how I found out My Little Pony porn was a thing.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how I found that too.
Yeah. That's why I tend to stay away from Rule 34. That's going to lead you to a place you don't want to be.
nah, there's plenty of good stuff out there.
Yeah.
Rule 34. If it exists, there's porn of it. Search Jimmy News
Yeah.
Rule 34.
Except I found one this doesn't apply to, and that's the anime Desert Punk.
Really?
Hell yes, Desert Punk. Like, I
Oh
don't
yeah,
even-
that anime is the most underrated anime I've ever seen.
That's one of the very few animes that I've ever seen that's actually better in English. Or if it's at
That's
least
so true.
it's at least funnier in English. I don't know who they found to play Kanta, the Desert Punk, but that guy is fucking hilarious.
Right. But it's one of the most underrated animes of ever.
Well, hold on a second. Micah's hand. Where did you get the name A Helping Hand? Yeah, and Andrew Shepard's right. It's just from the old moniker A Helping Hand, or to lend a helping hand. The actual idea behind the hand avatar was essentially it's just the Windows click icon come to life to slap the shit out of SJWs, which
That's why his email is a helping hand for slapping.
right. And eventually that'll probably become more apparent as I upgrade my aesthetic and actually learn how to use Blender, but that's basically where it came from. I mean, everybody already had their own cartoon avatars, but everybody's avatar was the face of an animal or the face of a cartoon character or something. I'm like, well, why not a hand? So
Mine started out because I started out on phone, and the only basically anthropomorphic thing I could put on there was emojis.
right.
Uh-oh.
What's going on?
Helping hand. We need helping hand porn now.
Yeah, dude, hand jobs have been a thing for as long as hands have been a thing. I'm pretty sure there's helping hand porn out there.
Get yourself to do a collab with Andy Worski. I guarantee you somebody will make it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. Yeah, I've been trying to get Andy Worski's attention, but I've yet to get a reply from him. So we'll see what goes on in the future.
I really
Yeah,
want
I'll be
to
real
see a helping hand Prince of Queens collaboration. That would be amazing.
Yeah, Prince of Queens definitely has my respect. I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but I've seen enough that yeah, he definitely has my respect. If he ever wanted to do a collab, I would totally be for that.
Every day.
I like
Oh my
Queen.
God.
Well, go ahead, man.
He uploads every day. Never runs out of fresh content.
Yeah,
Well, I'd say I like. Yeah.
I'd like to talk to him just for that, man, because damn it. I don't upload often enough. I totally know that, but I don't understand how people who upload every day can do what they do. I don't know how they manage their time like that.
Well, part of it is he lives in, and because I've watched most of his videos at this point, but he lives in and lives and has always lived around extreme liberals,
Mhm.
and so he's always had these ideas bouncing around his head.
Yeah.
And the other part of why I really like him is that he doesn't do the kind of stuff like, for example, he doesn't do a lot of research per se, but he's very analytically minded, and plus he has
Speaks a
good
lot for
social
Crystal.
skills, so it works together well to where he's socially analytical.
Yeah, for sure. I'm analytical, but I am far from social. Like I've done my share of live streams, but not as many as most will. Like I'm not a social person at all. Not at least not unless I'm talking to other people that are socially fucked up the way I am. So.
Oh God, we started a war over whether or not Worski is shit in the comments section.
Yeah.
Someone else knows Aiden Paladin? Yes, I fucking love Aiden Paladin. She is the
Aiden Paladin. Oh my God. She's kind of ugly in person. Honestly, I've seen the photo of her with the face cut out that she did, and honestly, she's kind of ugly. But her mind, I would just, I get a boner off that alone.
Oh my God.
Link me, dude.
Well, she looks like an SJW, to be honest.
Yeah, but these days it's not hard. I mean, I know quite a few people at this point who, had been doing the multicolored hair thing, who are fucking furious that feminists have quote unquote appropriated it for themselves. And there's a ton of people that are assuming they're feminists because they have like bright pink hair or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I definitely like, well, you know what? I'm bald. So
everyone here
at least you
like,
still have your hair, damn it.
I have long, beautiful golden locks, and it helps me get laid in a spot that's 98% Hispanic.
That'll do it.
I wish my hair was long again. Actually, I'll start growing it back out. And there's a little war going on in the chat. Aiden's a fucking idiot. She just sounds smart. And then
Aiden's an actual scientist, bro.
I know, social scientist. And Vic dad's like, you fucking what, mate?
No, she's a quantitative scientist, very specifically in that she's a quantitative social scientist in that she'll only deal with real numbers.
Right.
She won't deal with I feel this way.
Right.
By the way, I just sent you the link to her face reveal in the comments.
Man, now that I think about it, as far as the whole real numbers thing, it makes me think back about that the video that I did on the gender wage gap not long ago. And there's one point on there that I wish that I'd responded to that I didn't. And it's where one of them was saying something to the effect of women's confidence in their ability to succeed drops by 60% within the first year. How the fuck do you even quantify? How do you quantify a woman's confidence like that? How do you quantify their confidence in their ability to succeed so much so that you can confidently say 60%? I mean, it's like, yeah, 95% of all statistics are made up on the fly. It's fucking retarded.
Right. Well, like for example, one thing that I remember, it was a study that she showed about. It was the one that inspired her to basically become a social scientist. But basically, it shows that a lot of people who are assholes in real life are, according to all, and this was done on surveys, and that's always pointed out in the studies she does that include surveys, are bigger assholes online than they are in real life.
Oh, I can believe it.
Yeah, and this was done purely on surveys, and she admits, this was survey-based, so it may be subject to change with future information.
Right. And plus, people don't realize how easy it is to essentially word a survey in such a way that people are going to be inclined to answer the way that you want them to. I mean, it's not hard to corrupt a survey.
Oh, yeah. Your own bias can make you do it unintentionally.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know what a lot of people's opinions are of Teal Deer lately. I know he's been rubbing some people the wrong way, especially after he got in that fight with Andy Worski not long ago. But I mean, that's one thing.
I loved it. You wrecked them.
Yeah, that's one thing I've always respected him for, though, is he does have a way of taking these studies and actually breaking it down to the brass tacks and looking at the real numbers. And every time, they try to pull this manipulative bullshit, he ends up calling them out on it. So, regardless of what his social standing is in our community, even though there's a lot of people that hate that word, he still has my respect for that. So,
Well, oh, real quick, Victor Rand says that's weird. I'm much nicer on the internet than in real life, and that's the thing. Real quick, like money is a personality. What's the word? I don't know, but it basically bolsters aspects of your personality. The internet behaves the same way. If you're naturally lean towards being a good person, you become even nicer.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've had the word for it a long time, man. E-balls. If there are no consequences for what you say, you will say anything if you are that kind of person.
But yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people, their criticisms of Teal Deer are that, oh, he's not funny. He looks at studies and stuff, and it's like,
Right.
how can you think he's not funny? He's fucking hilarious. I guess I have too dry and analytical sense of a humor, but whatever.
I mean, when it comes to Han's content, he doesn't really apply much comedy to his stuff, but it's like done in the way where I can't stop watching it.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, like I said it right from the beginning. I'm not really a comedian. I guess some people find me funny. I don't mince words. You know, I don't try to wear kit gloves when I'm dealing with somebody. If somebody says something stupid, I'm going to fucking let them know how stupid what they just said was.
Yep.
Andrew M. Shepard just said it perfectly. Teal Deer, he's a thinking man's shit poster.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Yeah, sorry you guys keep hearing the my message notifications come through. I still don't know what the hell is going on with the live stream. Like, the right audio is filtering through my headphones, but for some reason everything outside of the stream is wanting to filter through my speakers. I have no clue why it's doing this.
Real quick, Max Burr just made a comment about harmful opinions. Did Harmful Opinions start another channel where he handles social justice bullshit? Because he's only been advertising his Twitch on his main channel.
Yeah, his main channel fell off a while ago, didn't it? I mean, he ended up, you know, losing a bunch of videos, and some of his social media pages went down. I don't even think I ever really heard a reason why. Oh yeah,
He got hacked massively, and his original one got deleted and all this other stuff. So he started another one, and I'm sub to it. But he's only ever been advertising his Twitch video game streams about it.
right.
No, Sweetie Starlight, his channel's still there. He just keeps putting up. Oh, actually, he may have got shut down again. Actually, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, if he's you know up with his previous momentum before, I definitely need to check out what he did, man. Because what he's been doing, because I definitely like the Harmful Opinions channel, man. He was good at what he did.
Well, I like Teal Deer and Harmful Opinions for two reasons. They will take this community to task when they fuck up.
Yeah.
And we need that.
Yeah, for sure.
I should give Teal Deer a try.
Wait, what did you just say?
I said I should give Teal Deer a try. You know, if you watch it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said something sexual.
Yeah, Teal Deer's been around for a while, man. If you haven't seen any of his stuff yet, I would definitely recommend it. I mean, he's not for everybody because, you know, he does have that dry British humor sort of style, but, you know, it all just depends on what you're looking for, really.
All right, Andrew says Harmful bowed out due to increased family obligations. I understand.
Yeah, that can happen. I mean, honestly, what's probably going to happen with me soon is I'm probably going to end up like maybe taking a month or so off just so I can familiarize myself with, because I've been using the same images and everything for my layout so far, and that's fine. But the only reason I'm using, you know, the images and everything that I've been using in my videos is because that's all the computer that I was working with could handle. I mean, it was a piece of shit running Windows Vista. Now I have this PC that's amazing, and I have the software to upgrade a lot of my stuff and like really boost up my presentation, but I'm going to need to take the time to actually teach myself all of this software so I can figure out how to start doing things better. So there might, in the near future, there might be a time where I drop off the map for about a month or so, but if that does happen, I'll be notifying people and I will be back. You can be sure of that.
Real quick, Hand, I would suggest you do what I'm taking the time to do now that I got a computer and a video editor.
Yeah.
I'm just taking the time because my channel's small and it's pretty much dead anyway. I'm taking the time to create a bunch of content of things like the history of communism and capitalism and the issues of ideologies and stuff like this.
Yeah, basically creating a backlog.
Yeah, they're basically anything that you can release at any time, and they're always relevant.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've been considering doing. I mean, especially with the wow, really, my brain's already starting to turn off. Fucking the existential crisis series I was talking about. Yeah, a lot of that's not going to really have to do with responding to anything that's current. You know, it's just going to be a general observation of you know, evolutionary psychology and whatnot. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably end up, you know, pouring a lot of effort into that, backlogging a bunch of those, and then find some time where I don't really have the time to do both the study and the video production, and, you know, basically just use that to stay updated. But, you know, even in doing that, I'm still going to have to find the time to create that backlog. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what goes on.
Real quick, 2 things. Andrew M. Shepard suggests voice meter for you. He says it'll fix that, simple and free, and take care of the Bing bullshit.
Oh, right
and
on.
What
Yeah,
do you guys think of Jordan Peterson?
Jordan Peterson has my respect, man. I don't know what he's been up to lately. I haven't really seen him anything from him since that video several months ago.
He just released a Q&A.
Oh, did he really? Yeah,
like literally 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. But I mean, I haven't really heard much about him since, you know, he was basically ganged up on after one of his speeches at some university somewhere, and the way he handled that, man, he has my respect for that, because that's some serious pressure, and he stuck to his convictions, man.
I'll say this much: he's done a few appearances on Joe Rogan. And the most interesting one is him and what's his name from Berkeley. Remember him, Brett Weinstein?
Yeah.
And what I got to say about Jordan, and he's been doing a biblical series where he's examining the Bible through a philosophical and, more specifically, a psychological lens. And I got to say, I am almost convinced that he is one of the most intellectual theists of our time.
Yeah. Well, I see Xenonymous Gorath says, "You've been talking about the quality upgrade. I'm glad you'll be able to follow through with your ideas." Yeah, man. I've always had ideas that I intend to implement for this. It was a matter of, you know, hardware and software limitations. But now that I'm finding out about it, it's also a matter of the fact that, you know, I originally trained as an animator. I was going to the Art Institute of Colorado, and the whole reason I ducked out in the first place was because their accreditation was garbage, and I guess I haven't picked it up since then. But I downloaded Blender recently, and the first time I started hearing about that was during the days of its early development, you know, and it's still experimental. I didn't really know how far it had come. And apparently now it's a beast. Like it's like the hand of God. It can do damn near anything, depending on how it just depends on if you know what you're doing. And, you know, thank God for things like Udemy and things like that. I just bought a bunch of courses, like 48 or 72 hours of lectures on Blender and like different 3D animation software. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just buckle down over the next like month or two and, you know, go through all those lectures, teach myself this software, and basically start putting it to use. Because if it's there for me to use, I'm definitely going to put it to use.
Yeah, seems like a good idea.
Well, I'm back, and cool, good idea, but why not Maya? Maya's a bloody good, powerful program as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I intend to. I'm probably going to grab Maya as well. I'm probably more familiar with Maya than I am with Blender, because when I was actually training for animation, actually pursuing the degree, we did most of what we did in Maya, and most of the principles that I learned were through there. So I'm gonna have to teach myself a lot of things all over again. But the best 3D artists that I've seen out there, they never really stick with one thing. It's usually like a few different pieces of software at once, and a lot of them at the core, it's usually Blender and Maya, sometimes 3D Studio Max, but that's fallen off a little bit in recent years, I think. And ZBrush, definitely. Oh God, I cannot wait to get my hands on ZBrush.
ZBrush is very powerful.
Yeah.
That is one hell of an interesting sculpting program, that one.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I've been looking at the digital sculpting aspects that have been added to Blender lately, and they're pretty damn good. I mean, they're getting towards that area, but right now, when it comes to what ZBrush does with those, you know, the detailed bump mapping and everything, nobody does it quite like ZBrush yet.
No.
Real quick, I just wanted to comment on this. Oh my God, Andrew M. Shepard spurred the fuck out over Jordan B. Peterson.
Oh, did he?
Sorry, who is this? And how big of a spurg?
It's one of the guys in our comments over here. Or in the chat.
There's like 5 comments in a row. Let me see. I can't even get to. Oh, here we go. No, it was. Let me see. He's a fucking sophist, a shit one at that, a bullshit artist. He's devoid of intellectual honesty. He's
Oh,
really
really?
the fuck out.
Damn.
Well,
I gotta disagree with.
Well, I can tell you, I'm not going to really make an opinion on that one way or the other because, like I said, I haven't seen anything that he's been doing ever since what happened at that university that he was speaking at. So I guess I'm going to have to update myself on what he's been saying recently. But I mean, from what I saw, he's only given me reason to respect him. I mean, even if he said anything that I don't agree with, even if he is a sophist in any case, just being on our side of the fence when it comes to this argument and the fact that he's able to hold on to his convictions to that degree when he has these fucking people screeching directly in his face. I mean, if nothing else, I got to say he's got balls of steel.
What the fuck's a sophist anyway? I've heard that as a derogatory term, but I've never seen a definition.
Sophistry is essentially just a way of spinning an intellectually dishonest argument in such a way that it makes it seem more credible than it actually is. It's
in that case, no, he's not.
Yeah.
That sounds incredibly
That's
familiar.
pretty much an accurate definition.
Yeah. Like I said, man, if there's one thing I stand for, it's coherent definitions of words. Damn it. I mean, that was what was behind my first video, and that's probably going to be what's behind the message of my channel moving forward as well. So
that's one of the things I always bother with when it comes to the social justice positions, especially on like concepts like rape culture and patriarchy and all these things. Like the definitions change so frequently, it's disgusting.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, guys,
They seem to be.
I gotta defend Jordan B. Peterson here. Andrew says, I've been around since the creationist wars, dudes. His bollocks pulled from the religious rights 20-year-old playbook. And no, it hasn't. It's not at all. He's completely religious libertarian in every way. And he looks at religion through a psychological lens in that it's trying to articulate that fundamental human ideas that we all know inside of ourselves. That's his view on religion and religious scripture.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, you know what? My channel hasn't been around since the whole, religious and creationist wars things, but I definitely paid close attention to that before I ever got involved with it. Back when people who were under the center spotlight, like, Thunderfoot and Venom Fang X and
that was a fun saga.
So yeah, I know what sophistry looks like, especially when it's coming from somebody who's trying to argue from the same kind of angle that these creationists did. And I got to tell you, there's plenty of people on our own side of the fence that even if they see something like that coming out of somebody who seems to be agreeing with what we say, usually they won't hesitate to take them and put their heads on the chopping block either. And given the fact that I've seen a complete lack of, anything debunking anything that he said, even though I haven't seen any of his most recent stuff, I mean, I don't know what you're seeing in him, Andrew, but I promise you this. Once I update myself on his rhetoric, what he's been seeing, you'll probably get quite a bit more detailed opinion about on me from it. But I'm not expecting him to be as bad as you think he is, man.
Oh, has anyone here ever watched Cult of Dusty?
Yep.
Cult of Dusty.
No, not really. All I saw was
relevant.
Lee's criticism of him.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from him in quite a while. I mean, is he still up and running? Is he still doing things?
He's still going. He has a white beard now, though, but that's about it.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, Dusty the White. Well, actually, no, he's Dusty the Dark now.
Oh.
I used to love his shit, but then he stopped uploading for a little while, and I was like, nah.
Yeah. Hellraiser asks, what do you guys think of Thunderfoot? I mean, he still has he still has my respect in every conceivable way. I mean, he still stands behind, his convictions as far as, the science and objectivity coming before, the whole real before feels thing. If I had one criticism, I would just say that he kind of needs to pick his battles, because ever since he started getting into the whole political side of things, he has ended up saying a lot of things that have pissed a lot of people off. And that's good and fine. But I mean, especially this most recent pissing match that he had with Sargon of Akkad. I mean, that kind of shit's that's not really necessary. And when it comes to that kind of thing, I think he's really doing more harm for himself than he is good for anybody else. But as far as
he should have separated the channels,
right? As far as his ability to argue from a point of reason and his stance on feminism ever since the whole, Gamergate debacle and all this. Yeah, he still has nothing but respect for me. I mean, I would totally love to have a chat with him one of these days, but I can see why a lot of people have been turned off from him as well. Also.
I've never been subbed to him, and I've never seen personally a reason to sub to him, but I know he's an actual scientist, so at least on a scientific level, I'll respect him.
Yeah.
I just don't know much about him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, the ones who are going to be most familiar with him are going to be the ones when he was under the center spotlight when it came to the whole creationist thing. I mean, his Why Do People Laugh at Creationist series is fucking, it's gold. Honestly, I wish he would get back to that kind of thing, but I understand why he doesn't. It just doesn't seem to have the amount of traction that it did before. Not as many people are paying attention to it as they were.
Well, it's kind of the same reason Logic doesn't really grow anymore.
Yeah.
He has a devout little following, compared to what he could have, but it just doesn't. It's 7 to 10. Yeah.
If I had to ask Thunderfoot anything about that, I would honestly like to know what he thinks about the fact that the creationist debate has fallen out of the mainstream, because I can imagine part of him not. I imagine part of him misses doing that, misses getting the attention for it and everything. But at the same time, it's probably a fight that he wanted to see fade away in the first place. He thought it was something that was too stupid and it was getting more attention than it should in the first place. And honestly, I've given it that same amount of thought when it comes to the whole social justice thing. Like once this no longer becomes a popular thing, and whenever that's going to be, then sure, I'll probably end up having to change my format and start presenting other things. Maybe I'll focus more on my writing or start, doing digital painting videos, things like that. But part of me will miss, the reason to make that kind of content. But at the same time, it'll be bittersweet, because I imagine when people stop talking about it, it's going to be at a time when this bullshit is no longer a problem and it's not being forced on people anymore. So,
Right.
yeah, we'll see what comes of the future.
Hey, Ray, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask this, but I don't know if you plan to or if you have any inspiration for it, but do you ever plan to do YouTube videos on anything?
The thought about it has definitely crossed my mind multiple times. Anything ranging from, doing a few clips of me working out, modifying my workout routine, to bowling, to my daily life. I've thought about it, but I just don't know how about getting started. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I was thinking, talking along that, what would be an interesting thing could get you a little niche market, because I do not see this anywhere really except for very few people, is like your workouts and stuff. And you could show, you could basically do basically like veterans and disabled charities and informations.
Right.
And stuff like that, because as silly as it is, being
So guys,
in a situation.
What's going on, man?
I got to go.
All right, man.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
take it easy.
Later,
Thanks for stopping by.
Of course, I'll
Nice
talk to
talking
you
to you.
guys.
See ya.
I got to talk to some of you guys tomorrow, I guess. Yeah.
All right, man. Take it easy. It was nice
You
having
too.
you on.
Mike is dead said I'd watch Ray vlogs.
All right, see ya.
Oh yeah, totally, man. Yeah, if I can convince Raymond to make a fucking YouTube channel, I will.
Right. But yeah, you could do videos about basically why showing, daily, I wouldn't say struggles, but daily life vlogs,
Right.
and why it's not a matter to pity
Right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with him. And it's like I said, especially in all the news coverage that you've got in your childhood. I know you got coverage for playing football in high school, for martial arts when we were still in elementary school. And every time that showed up, man, I mean, you were an inspiration to everybody. So it's the possibility is totally there.
Right.
I mean, especially in this environment that we have now, because we have people. That's what my channel and our channels are basically based on. We have all these special snowflake people that they don't want to do better for themselves. They want attention and they want to be pitied, and they basically want to be special snowflakes. And, you know, they find a pride in being a victim, and you refuse to be a victim. And there are a lot of people out there who are going to identify with that, man. So if you ever decide to start like a vlog channel or like a podcast or something, just tell me, man. I will push that shit at the end of every video I make.
Right, get yourself a GoPro and show yourself doing badass shit, man.
Right.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's definitely crossed my mind. I mean, after tonight, it could definitely be very well possible. So be on the lookout for it.
Right on.
Do you have Twitter?
I do, but I don't use it.
All right, hit me up on Facebook then, okay?
Sounds good. I'll do that.
All right. I'll find you through a helping hand later.
Yeah. Oh, he's not hard to find, man. Trust me. He's. Yeah, I was hoping Bering might have got my message that he might have wanted to drop in, but it looks like he hasn't just yet. That's cool.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, yeah.
Guys, fucking genius. Vike is Dead says he could become one of the diversity channels, and then YouTube could make him a speaker at an event or something, and then we have an inside man.
Outstanding. Hell yeah. That's what you need to do, Ray. Fucking be an SJW sleeper cell and destroy that shit from the inside out.
Fuck yeah, Russian KGB level shit.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good idea.
Right on, man.
We could put gadgets in the prosthetics.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. Fucking Deus Ex style. I want him to have metal legs and use them for justice.
What's that guy from Mortal Kombat with the metal arms? The exact
Jax.
opposite, though.
Fucking Jax. Yeah. That's classic shit right there.
It is.
Except,
that's funny.
Except his portrayal in what was it? Mortal Kombat Annihilation, like the second Mortal Kombat movie that came out in the 90s. That shit was. I mean, it was. The first one was so cheesy that it was awesome, but the second one was just fucking terrible. I'm sorry.
That's the one where all the evil dudes came to Earth, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
The best thing I got out of that was, oh man, who was it? I think it was the Nostalgia Critic that reviewed that. Yes. And he's talking about the scene where they're riding around in that cage ball that's going through those tunnels at high speed. And he's like. He turned it into like a Six Flags amusement park ride advertisement. They're like, ride the fuck ball. I must have rewound that part like 1,000 times. Like, yes, finally somebody said it.
Hey, Stephens20 has a question for you.
Yeah. Let me see.
Have you seen a documentary called Ideological Subversion?
I have not, but by the title alone, it definitely sounds like something that would interest me. I'll look into it though, man, for sure.
Oh well. What other things? Actually, I was saying to you, like when you're doing your
what makes the red man red? Liberal teen says. Well, I imagine too much sun exposure. That's about the most that I could say. I mean, you saw my last video on it.
Hello.
Hey. Yeah.
Oh right, okay. Thought you could
Sorry
hear
about
me.
that. Sorry, man.
No, that's okay. Conformity. That's something we were talking about over Twitter.
Yeah.
Anal blood.
Yes, anal blood. You looked into that at all?
I haven't had a chance just yet, but if there's, if you can point me towards any good sources on that, that's something I'm definitely going to want to look into. It's like I said, the first couple of videos that I made for that series, that was generally the idea that I was trying to push, but I didn't really know how many sources were out there on it. So
wait, what's the idea?
Conformity.
Like a video on
conformity.
Oh, Aiden Paladin did a good video on this. I'll try to find it and send it to you. She's got several sources. Oh,
well, yeah, that works. I was also going to go and do something similar to that, but look into the more of the pop culture aspect of the whole thing. Look into like the Ash Klein studies and the God, what's that guy's called? Fuck me, I can't remember off the top of my head. I had this all in my head like 3 seconds ago. God damn it, I forgot it. Stanley Milgram experiments. That's it.
Right.
A whole bunch of other things. So there's so many different ways you can go about it, but it's fascinating to see how many things will affect us at like areas we wouldn't expect. So especially with the Milgram experiments as well. that would because there's a whole history behind it as well, with people like vastly underestimating how effective an authority figure can be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
like wildly misunderstanding.
Right.
Aiden did one about this too. It was a study that actually inspired the ethics board in America, where people were told to push buttons by a dude in a lab coat, and that's the only form of authority they got from him.
Yeah, it's the Milgram experiments.
Yeah, and they straight up thought they killed motherfuckers.
Yep. The people were the original ones. People were like, "Hey, look, we don't think that this is going to be very high. We think that most people, if they realize they're going to kill people, they won't do it." And it was a shockingly high percentage of people.
Oh yeah.
That actually ended up going all the way to the end on the voltage meter, well after someone's been dead, mind you. So they've shocked the person, and yeah.
Plus, I've never actually looked into the details of it, but a lot of what I've heard about the Stanford prison experiments.
Yep, yeah. With Philip Zimbardo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. That's a lot. It's probably one of the biggest sources of cognitive dissonance out there. Like, conformity is in our nature, but we still have that driving desire to try to be unique. And
hilarious.
Cognitive dissonance. Hang on. Wait, what do you mean by cognitive dissonance?
I mean, essentially, the fact that everybody wants to be, especially these days, they want to be this unique, special snowflake, but at the same time, they still want to be able to fit into their social circles because, conformity is more or less in our nature as a tribal species, and right. Well, it creates a discomfort in the mind. Knowing that you can only be so unique before eventually you're an outsider.
Right. Well, cognitive dissonance, I think it was coined from 1984, but it refers to having two contradicting thoughts in your head at the same time, believing both to be true.
Yeah, the outward. Yeah. It is the inward expression of the outward expression of doublethink, effectively.
Yeah.
Could have sworn somebody said something at some point here.
I don't know. The other thing I'm going to be doing, because I'm currently, I want to get this done by Friday, but I want to finally finish the video I'm doing on allyship.
Right on.
So I was going to do that weeks ago, and then I had a whole bunch of other things happen in my life, and I couldn't do anything, and I had to fuck off for like a week. But it's really fascinating, allyship, because like I see it as, I don't know how you can come away from it taking a real sort of like back look at it. I don't know how you can come back from it without thinking it's basically emotional blackmail.
Yeah,
it's
exactly right.
Hey, Morally, your channel's just called Morally Gray.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna sub you right now because you have interesting thoughts.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's one of the things I'm gonna. Yeah, in the next couple of days, that's one of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to binge watch as much of your stuff as I can, man. Because if we're gonna collab, I need to know where you are.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Are you morally gray with an A or an E?
A.
All right, because
my name is Gray, so I just put morally in front of it.
You might actually be related to me. Is Gray the last name?
No, it's first name.
Oh, never mind.
I'm not sure that Gray is such an uncommon last name anyway, man. I mean, you have the picture of Dorian Gray, and then unfortunately you have 50 Shades of Gray. So
50 Shades. 50. Did you see?
I thought to do that originally.
Oh god,
like, that's gonna be my name, and I was like, nah, it's horrible.
Yeah, or if nothing else, nip that shit in the bud. Like I called the whole hand job thing before people started saying that.
Oh, but did you see film theorist idea on theory about 50 Shades of Grey?
I can't say that I have, and I'm not. Yeah.
Look at it; it's really good. Basically, he breaks down how the movie 50 Shades of Grey was cult indoctrination.
Oh my god. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it doesn't seem like cult indoctrination to me. It just seems like exploitation. I mean, it's really all it is. Like, they know their market, and they're trying to market to middle-aged housewives who are sexually frustrated, and that's exactly who's buying the books, and they're making a fucking killing on it.
Right. Well, I'll say this much. when it first came out, you see, I was stuck to radio at the time,
Yeah.
and as much as I'm willing to give modern day Christians leniency because they're a lot better than they used to be, they had a weird fucking fascination with that book and that movie.
Yeah.
It was weird.
All I know is that I've heard that story started off as fucking Twilight fan fiction, and that already means I'm not interested.
I actually read the books. The books weren't bad except the last one, and the last chapter fucking pissed me off. But anyway, the movies were just gay as fuck.
All right. Are you sure you want to go around admitting that you made an emotional connection to 50 Shades of Grey, man? Just saying.
No, I'm talking about Twilight Zone.
Oh.
Not the book. Trust me. Not the book was a fan fiction of the movie, not a fan fiction of the book Twilight Zone. That's the thing. The Twilight Zone books weren't bad. They weren't anything great, but they weren't bad.
Yeah. I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing though, man. Because I didn't mention Twilight Zone. I have nothing but respect for Twilight Zone. No,
Twilight Zone. I'm talking about the Twilight Saga. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm talking. Yeah, Stephanie Meyer's Twilight, the garbage sparkling vampires.
Yeah. Well. The books were okay. The movie was gay garbage.
I don't know. All I know is I saw a picture some years back somebody drew about oh man, who was it? It was one of Anne Rice's vampires, and like standing next to Edward Cullen as he's sparkling, and he's in flames. He's like, "Oh my god, I hate you, you sparkling faggot." Oh god, if I could find that picture again, I swear to God, I'm gonna save it.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Twilight series, is if you try to visualize it, especially the vampires, unless you do it perfectly, it's gonna look gay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can respect, wanting to take a unique approach to vampires, but there's a right way and there's a wrong way. I mean, the Legacy of Kain series was unique. Chat. What's up?
Check out the side chat, my comment.
Hold on a second.
Ooh, Hellsing, yes. You guys seen Hellsing?
Van Helsing? Or the TV show?
Hellsing Ultimates Alucard from Vika's Dead mentioned it.
I don't think I've seen that yet, no.
Oh, you gotta watch it. It is one of the best horror animes that has ever existed.
Oh, right on. Oh, yeah. Oh, Hellsing. Okay. Yeah. No, I haven't followed it all the way through. I haven't seen all of it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's pretty
so
damn
good.
decent. Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah, I'm familiar with that for sure.
Vika's Dead says, watch it, all caps.
Yep. Yeah, that's one I've been meaning to go back and revisit at some point. That's for sure. So thank you for reminding me. Yeah.
It is so good.
Oh my God.
Hey, Raymond, do you watch anime?
I would have to say no. I have not in years.
Yeah. I what I do is I take years off of watching anime and then I come back because I binge watch the fuck out of it when I watch it.
Right.
I mean, the only thing I really got into was just the Attack of the Titans, and then after that, I just lost everything else.
Oh man, fucking.
I'm behind.
Shuttle Keela. Oh my God, you damn dweeb.
Yeah, I know.
No, the one thing that I'm waiting for is an animated version of one of Junji Ito's stories. Especially if I could see an animated version of Uzumaki, I would totally fucking watch that.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, have you read the manga Seven Seeds?
I think I've heard of it, but I don't think so.
Highly suggested, man. It's a post-apocalyptic scenario with basically seven not Chris Pratt anyway. With basically there's 7 pods that are cryogenically stored people. And there's a certain number in each, and they're going to rebuild civilization after a meteorite. No real spoilers here, just so you know.
Right.
And it's also, here's the thing, it's very action oriented, but it's also written by a woman. So even though it's action oriented, it has actual relationship development in it. Because I like the Bleach series, I fucking hated that Orihime and Ichigo never did anything except constantly be like, "Oh, I like him. Oh, I like her," and they didn't do anything.
Yeah, it didn't really challenge the status quo with anything. I mean, it was pretty. I'm not going to say it was pandering, but it was definitely formulaic.
It was mainstream and formulated. It was really good,
Yeah.
but it was mainstream as fuck.
Yeah. Xenonymous Gorath says, "Do you listen to or read creepypasta?" I mean, yeah, dude. I'm not sure if you've seen any of the videos that I posted of narrations of my work, man. But that's pretty much how I got started as a writer. I've written for a lot of the creepypasta narrators out there. You know, Mr. Creepypasta's. I wouldn't necessarily call him a friend, but he's a pretty close acquaintance. You know, him and his wife, and the vampiric narrator Ty that we just had on here. He's one of the narrators that's read some of my stuff. Yeah, I haven't kept up with a lot of the recent creepypasta. It's just something I haven't had the time to do. But yeah, if it's good enough, I like it. I mean, it's the unfortunate thing about creepypasta though is that it's pretty much anybody can submit anything they want, and it's 90% of it's going to be garbage. But the stuff that's really good, like, really stands out. I mean, it proves that there's a lot of really good, new, and independent ideas out there. It's kind of why I have a lack of patience for the horror genre when it comes to movies these days, because it seems to me that it's a lot of pandering to the lowest common denominator. Just using formulas that work, even though there are original ideas out there. But a lot of the investors aren't wanting to, they're not wanting to gamble on it. So. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be valued in the creepypasta community.
I've never seen a horror movie that made me feel like it was horror, but creepypastas, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, again, it really depends on what it is that you're looking for. You have Jeff the Killer, which I don't understand. I really don't understand how it became as popular as it is, because to me, it's really just all of the most stereotypical tropes of slasher fiction, slasher flicks out of the 80s. But I mean, maybe that's exactly it. I mean, maybe that's why a lot of people identified with it. But then you have, stories like The Disappearance of Ashley, Kansas, and Pen Pal by Thousand Vultures. I mean, you have some of them that were just artfully done, and they definitely don't get the attention they deserve.
Hellraiser just asked if we watch Mr. Dapperton. I think he's asking because I just got a notification he uploaded a video.
Mr. Dapperton. I think I am subscribed.
I haven't watched him, actually.
Yeah, I think I am subscribed to him, but again, I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna have to go back and refamiliarize myself.
He's an ANCAP, and it's fuck. He's really, really good at smashing SJWs, but then when he goes into the whole ANCAP thing, he makes a lot of sense, and then he gets weird too.
Well, that's always entertaining, if nothing else.
Okay. Hey, Andrew, he's not a dime store Logix. He only recently started doing the whole outfit thing, and that's because he wanted to improve quality. He was a fucking cartoon like everyone else.
Right. Shuttle Killer asks, would you rather preserve the white race or have an Asian girlfriend?
Hey, I answered an Asian girlfriend. Thank you, so.
Right. Again, man, I mean, to me, it's not about preserving the white race. It's just about not fucking demonizing the white race.
True.
It's about realizing that race is not as significant as so many people would have you believe. That's essentially why I said in my last couple of videos that, these people who are white, hardcore white nationalists and white supremacists, I don't support them any more than I do SJWs, because I don't support anything that's going to be segregating the races and having them at each other's throats. I think it's fucking stupid, and that we need to stop placing so much importance on race. That's what I think.
Well, I actually have a interesting point I want to put out there about this. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I have a friend, and you guys know me. I don't really sleep with white girls. I don't care for them myself. But I have a friend. Yeah, I have a friend who is. He was seriously wondering, how do I keep myself from becoming alt-right and all that stuff. And I pointed out, because this is one thing I've never seen pointed out by anybody, and I'm going to do a video on this. But if you look at the black community and black people at large, it is true to an extent what the alt-right says about them, on average having a lower IQ and higher crime rate. That is true.
Mhm.
But the reality is, if you look at them and you look at the trends that have been happening, their crime rates have been going down just like everybody else, and their IQ rates have been rising slowly just like everybody else.
Right.
So if you give it time, they will end up at crime rates and IQ levels equal to, or at least equal to whites, or at least equal to whites at their current level.
Right.
Therefore, it's just a matter of the culture basically having the meritocracy slowly take over, like it did for white and Japanese people already.
Right. I mean,
it'll slowly fix itself.
Right. That's another thing that a lot of people have been bringing up, especially this one particular guy that was arguing with me over my more recent video, and he seems to think that I'm saying that there's no such thing as race and that it's all cultural. No, nobody's saying that. I'm not saying nobody's saying that. Yeah, there are people who are saying that, but that's not what I'm saying. Yeah, I acknowledge that race exists, and I do acknowledge that there are genetic differences between us. I just disagree that the way to solve it is going to start with segregating off the races and making them hate each other. As far as I'm concerned, that's just going to make the problem worse. And if we're going to solve any of these problems, we need to start treating them all as human problems and not just problems with individual races, as if we're saying, well, fuck them, let them fix their own problems. We're not going to move forward that way.
Right. I do believe to a certain extent that modern black culture needs to fix itself in a way, because they have motherfuckers like Al Sharpton and Black Lives Matter running around that they need to reject.
Mm-hmm.
White people and Asians and Mexicans can't do that for them.
Right.
To a certain level, they need to bring themselves up.
Right. Exactly. I just think we need to start focusing on
to do it eventually.
We need to start focusing on problems that actually fucking matter, problems that we can actually solve. And the things like this, it's muddying the waters and it's stunting our growth. It's really all it's doing.
Right.
Vic is Dead asks, have you read Lovecraft? Yes, I love H.P. Lovecraft. He is definitely one of my idols. He was ahead of his time. I don't have everything he's ever written, but eventually I will.
Oh my God, Andrew Shepard hit this one perfectly. The rule of law, my dude, the rule of law. Alt wine and regressive left. Alt wine.
Indeed.
But what about my genetics?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Again, that's another thing. I mean, like I was talking about before we actually went live, we are much too hung up on labels. A lot of people think that it's making the discussion faster because it's providing a shorthand, and it's really not. All it really does is allow people to make assumptions about what people think based on the label they choose to hold, whether or not they actually agree with what the majority of that label represents. Again, people need to stop focusing on labels and start focusing on the arguments that actually come with them, because at least then they'll actually be listening to what's being said. Yeah.
Right. Well, about that same conversation we had, I got to also say, I did admit to a certain extent, certain labels do apply to me perfectly. I'm a non-religious theist, and that fits with me perfectly as long as you're going by the dictionary definition of these things. And so would libertarian conservative fit with me perfectly as long as you're following perfect dictionary definitions. But that's the problem. You got to follow the perfect definitions. And even then, conservative doesn't fully hit me because there's a lot of things I don't agree with with conservatives. Yeah.
Right.
Andrew M. Shepard, non-religious theist, top fucking keck.
What? Oh boy. Well, we're probably going to have to start pulling this to a close here relatively soon. I have some appointments that I have to attend to tomorrow.
I'm getting gradually more sick as time goes on.
Yeah, man. I know how that feels, man. Fucking shit, especially if it's a cold, man. The fucking shit sticks to your bones like super glue.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not talking much, but I'm just out of energy.
It's all good, man. Trust me. I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I've been invited to a lot of live streams before, but it's only on a rare occasion that I actually have the energy to do it.
Well, I will have to say this has been very interesting. I've definitely like to get involved more. So sorry for not saying much on my end either.
That's fine, man. I'm sure I'll have you on again in the future. Like I said, I'm at some point or another, I'm going to convince you to start a channel. So
Yeah, one day, soon,
Yeah.
hopefully soon.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All
Sorry,
right.
sorry. I feel like I dominated it.
No, don't worry about it, man. You contributed. I mean, that's why I wanted other people. My original plan was to just have it be me and Raymond, but again, I mean, I have social anxiety issues, man. Doing something like this, I would get stage fright if I don't have somebody else around me. So, I mean, when you're actually making videos, it's not as bad because you're doing it on your own time and nobody's observing you when you're doing it. And once you've made something that you're proud of, it's easy to put it out there. But just composing, yeah.
One other thing, do you guys play any games?
Yeah.
I play a lot of games, mostly offline because I'm rarely at home.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
Pretty much the same with me. I know there's a bunch of online ones though that I need to get into.
Yeah, dude. If you want to come play games, you should join my Discord.
Shoot me a link.
Yeah. We'll play games. It's on every one of my videos at this point. So if anyone looks it up, they can find it. Please,
Absolutely, man.
Oh, yeah.
Open to public. But I'm trying to get a whole bunch of people to get together and just smash out MechWarrior.
Nice.
Dude, it's such a fucking good game. Holy shit!
By the way,
Free,
what's
completely
your
free.
Twitter, bro?
My Twitter?
Yeah.
Morally Grey. It's always morally grey.
I can't find you.
Oh, that's
man,
weird. Well, go to any of my videos. I have a link on it.
Yeah, look at some of my more recent tweets, man. I know I've tagged him in a couple of them at least, so you'll find him that way.
Sorry. That's right. My handle is very morally grey. That's right.
All right.
That's my handle. Yeah.
Yeah. There has definitely been a depressing lack of good mecha video games out there, at least until I started Steam, and I see there's a lot of independent stuff out there. But that's why. I mean, have you played Titanfall 2 yet?
Yes.
My little brother actually bought that game.
Yeah.
I'm very good at Titanfall in general, but no, but MechWarrior isn't mecha as per in like the Japanese sense, not at all.
Oh, okay.
It's more like an American system where you're not this sort of thing that flies around at 1 billion miles an hour. You are a slow-moving tank with a death cannon that annihilates a city.
Oh yeah, I totally, I totally know what you're meaning. Those are more my favorites anyway. I mean, some of the earliest mech-based video games I ever started to play were the Heavy Gear 1 and Heavy Gear 2,
yes.
and I fucking loved those games, man. I want to see more of that. Yeah, that's why Titanfall had me so psyched. I mean, I love the first one. The only problem with it I had is I'm not usually one for, massive arena and online games. I usually like something that's more story-oriented, and apparently that's
Titanfall 2.
Yeah,
an amazing story.
Yeah, that's what I hear, and so I think that's going to be the next one on my list because it looks fantastic.
Well, actually, it's story. Yeah, I mean,
You have your camera on game.
Titanfall could actually be a bloody good. It could be a really good flagship profile for Respawn if they really dived into the lore and fleshed that shit out. They could make a very good platform.
Oh yeah,
they got something that shit's gold, and I don't know if they realize it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of like Warhammer, but
yeah,
fucking ruin Warhammer.
Never played Warhammer.
Oh, I fucking love Warhammer. 40k especially. Oh my god.
Oh man, have you played Space Hulk just yet?
Yes, I have Space Hulk.
Oh my
god.
Yeah.
Not bad. Hello.
I love how I don't even get a hello.
Hey.
Hello. I bothered to tell you were late as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
I just got done recording a video, so yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, right on, man. Yeah.
I'm not even really paying attention to the actual chat window, the hangout. I'm just playing Endless Space in the background.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna play BioShock, but then I realized I want to smoke cigarettes.
Right.
Well, yeah.
I just need to invest in a second monitor because, yeah, that's.
Oh yes, I know the feeling. I need a second monitor. But seriously though, definitely come come play some games with me on MechWarrior. It's MechWarrior Living Legends. It's insane. It's not just mech combat. There's tank combat, infantry combat. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, that's.
It's one of the best mods.
Very morally gray, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sir.
Yeah, that's That's good shit, man. Especially knowing that you are into games like the Mech Warrior franchise. I know we will get along for sure.
Oh, my only problem is I don't have a PC. If I'm able to get this job that I'm wanting to do, then I'll be able to make a better paycheck and I'll be able to get a PC because I like playing games like Mech Warrior and things that really use like an actual joystick.
Right.
Hey, question, Hand. You saw the specs on my computer, right?
Yeah.
Is that good for a gaming PC?
It's going to depend on what you intend to play. I mean, I can tell you right now. The fact that it's a laptop alone, anything that's super high end or any kind of super high end game that you're going to play, it's not going to do well for that. But there are a lot of games that you could run on it.
So if I try to play Ark Survival Evolved, it'll crash.
I'm honestly not sure. I'd have to go and take a look at what its demands are.
You need to play that game. That game is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
What's the specs?
It's a Lenovo 50-45. I don't know, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know these things.
Yeah, he sent them to me. I'll copy.
I know my computers.
Yeah. All I know is I always wanted a nice, powerful desktop PC, and that's exactly what I built it around. I mean, I knew that if I built it around high-end gaming, that it was probably going to be able to do whatever else I needed to do as far as production. And so far, it's worked out quite well. I mean, when I started Deus Ex Mankind Divided, I mean, as I'm turning everything up to like high and ultra settings, like even the game itself, it's like trying to stop me. It's like, are you sure you want to do this, man? Your computer's going to be smoking. And it does it without even breaking a sweat. So I know I've done something right.
Fuck, that game was disappointing though.
Oh yeah, you didn't like it? I haven't gotten very far into it just yet.
It's so disappointing. Like they
go ahead.
Anyway. Well, they hyped Deus Ex Mankind Divided up like crazy. It was going to be the greatest thing. And there's nothing. It's like less than 6 hours of, well, again, yeah, nothing. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's a non-game. It's pretty and it's all the rest, but there's no content. It's like, what the fuck? It's kind of like fucking Halo 6. God damn, they dropped that. Yeah. That marketing was absolute false advertising, no matter what way you look at it. False advertising through and through.
Can't you just let Halo die?
Andrew M. Shepard says gaming laptops equal burnt money.
Yeah, there you go.
They can, yeah.
I have to agree on that one too.
Yeah.
See, for me at this point in time, here's how I want to do things. I want to get just a cheap laptop for the moment. That way I actually have memory. I'm not constantly deleting stuff off my phone because it's a lot of work constantly keep doing upkeep with the videos on your phone. Mm-hmm. And just get that cheap laptop, doesn't have to be anything special. And then that way I can save up for an even better computer, but just use it as a more high-end version of the setup that I have now for my channel.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, there's pretty much no way around it, man. I mean, you very well can have a channel and make videos with a smartphone if you want.
But, I proved it.
Yeah, but if what you're wanting to do is like, really high-end stuff, and you're looking to have a really nice presentation and really solid audio and everything, you have to have a computer of some kind. You have to.
Well, the best way to anybody listening, if you only got a smartphone, and most of my videos started out as trash because I had to learn this all by myself because nobody else seems to do this, but pay $6 for the Power Director app. It's very basic, but it'll do 90% of the anti-SJW videos that you see out there anyway.
It was thanks to Rory the Lion that I actually found this app.
Right, but get Lexus Audio Editor. It is the single best audio editor I've ever found for getting rid of stuff. Look at my video, Black Canary in the Coal Mine, and compare it to my earlier videos. That's the difference.
Right.
It's not perfect audio, but it's damn good compared to the crap you'd get with a regular recorder.
Yeah, man, I know that my audio still isn't perfect. It still has its issues. And the stupid thing is, I have no excuse because I know several professional audio engineers in my personal life. I mean, if they heard my audio, they would probably slap me for it. But yeah.
All right, well, you need to go get yourself first slapped and then secondly trained.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
hand the audio that I used in your video and the video that I made for you, that was actually made using a blue mic.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine that you were using some sort of a decent mic for that. Yeah, because I didn't really hear any, background noise or any hiss or anything. So
I only
Shadow
really
Killer says your voice is charming.
who says
Hand.
who says my
Shadow
voice?
Killer.
Oh yeah. Well, I've gotten compliments on it. Most of the comments I've ever heard on my voice was during my days as a call center representative, and when I was telling them things they didn't want to hear, I was just called a smartass most of the time. So
Same here. I used to work at Dish Network, and I literally had old women hitting on me because of my voice.
You sound like Mr. Medica, actually.
I've been hit on by gay. I've been hit on by gay dudes in my comment section. I don't know how I should take it. I don't know how
you should take it in the ass.
Right. Andrew Shepard saying that that my audio is easily listenable. Yeah, it is now, man. If you heard what my first video sounded like when I first uploaded it, it was not right. Like, there were a lot of things that I hadn't quite learned yet, or at least things that I wasn't taking into account. I mean, that's why I ended up uploading that first video like 3 or 4 different times, because I kept having to fix problems with the audio. And
it was slightly robotic.
Yeah, I've more or less figured it out now. I mean, there's still kind of problems that I'm running into as far as keeping noise under control. And what I definitely need to do is invest in a few sound absorption panels, put them around my room, but. This time,
just get egg crates.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think what I might end up doing is like setting up a separate room for audio recording, because I sleep in the same room that I record my fucking videos in, and this is the hottest room in the house, especially this time of the year. If I start putting insulation on the walls, I'm gonna fucking die of heat stroke.
No, real quick, them 60 egg crates you can get?
Yeah.
Egg cartons? Get those. Start buying those. And in a month's time, you'll have like 4 things to work with. In 2 months' time, you'll have basically 2 giant panels of sound deafeners and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
They're perfectly shaped in material.
Most of my stuff, I know that Trucker has been telling me, about my audio. A lot of it's simply because I record where I can and when I can get the most, silence. Which a lot of times.
Yeah, well, I was saying, you need to get yourself the $17 headset for the Nintendo Switch, because it is a headset that is meant to be played while playing video games on the go. So it has the best outside noise quality. Mix that with the Lexus audio quality, audio editor. You have the best cheap smartphone noise cancellation.
Right.
Well, these are. Yeah, what's up?
Hold on one second, man. Looks like Raymond's got to take off, man. Just want to thank him for dropping by, man. There's a lot of people that were wanting to hear from you, so I'm probably going to have you on again at some point or another if you're still up for it. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Just let me know ahead of time. I'll come back on here. It was definitely very interesting and nice meeting you guys.
All right, man.
Nice to meet you, Raymond.
Hey, nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you guys. You guys have a great night. Find me up on Facebook. I'll try to get more active on Twitter and whatnot. So
cool, man.
I'll get your stuff from Hand. I bother him frequently.
Sounds good.
Me too. Later.
Yeah, but no, man. As far as audio struggles go, my biggest problem. I live in a city where apparently we have a decent sized population of like motorcycle enthusiasts. And I swear to God, I always try to record at the latest possible hour at night that I can, so I can get as much ambient silence as I possibly can. And I'll be right in the middle of a line, and all of a sudden, like a bunch of fucking motorcycles. Exactly. Like, you sons of bitches. Like, I wish I had a rocket launcher. I really do.
Are you sure there's just not somebody sitting right outside of your bedroom with a motorcycle and just revving it every time you try to say something?
Oh no,
They're
trust
peeking
me.
in there with a weed whacker held to the window.
Oh no. No, I know exactly what it is, and I know exactly what street it's happening on, man. This time of year, there's always a bunch of idiots that want to race in the middle of the night because they think it's going to be safe. And every week or so, we'll hear about a horrific crash that happened with one of the motorcycle groups around in town. It's retarded. It's predictable, but it's retarded.
Hey, Andrew M. Shepard says, record in your closet, the clothes dampen the reverb. That's actually really smart, and I've started hanging my jackets and stuff around where my recording area is.
Actually, that is kind of smart.
Yeah. My only problem with that is, that means I'd have to clean out my closet, and I really don't want to do that right now.
Gonna get some kind of alien fungus.
And then after you record, you can finally say you've come out of the closet.
Right.
Genius.
Yeah.
No, these I just got these earbuds right here, and they were on sale on Amazon. Like they were $32, and when I saw the original price, I was like, "Holy crap! These are originally priced at $119."
Mm-hmm.
Pretty damn good drop.
$2. They're $32 on Amazon. I had $30 worth of credit, so I only had to pay $2.38. So
yeah, Andrew.
No,
go ahead.
The audio quality on these are good. They probably don't sound good here because it's a stream. But when you see the two videos that I just did for Amanda Wolfchild and Chambers of the Heart, I'm using For Chambers video, I'm using these. On Amanda's, I'm just using my cell phone microphone.
Right.
But you'll notice a major difference. I like the mic on these.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Amanda Wolfchild, that's somebody I should have had on here for this as well, man. I haven't talked to her in quite a while. We need to catch up.
Oh, she is awesome. She's super interactive. She has an adorable voice. And,
oh yeah, she's awesome for sure.
And I love how she has an adorable voice, even when she's shit talking somebody. Fucking wonderful.
So you kidding me, man? Like I said, I have a background in call centers, and there's no better asset than having an adorable voice because it makes customers less want to fucking, scream at you. Unfortunately, I didn't have that kind of voice. I don't have a voice that promotes sympathy.
You and me both. Yeah.
I, for whatever reason, get called ma'am constantly over the phone.
Yeah, I could see that to a certain extent with the way phones will edit your own audio.
Yeah.
They lighten your voice.
Well, no, understandable. But the embarrassing thing is when I was called ma'am at a grocery store, and the woman looked at me, and she didn't even apologize. She just walked on.
Right.
Well, I was gonna say, me and Hand, in a sense, have similar voices, in that I'd say we're both easy to listen to, and at the same time, you cannot tell what our emotions are unless we really emphasize it.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the funny thing. I script my videos, so I try to, read with conviction, but a lot of the times, and I'm projecting anger, I'm probably not angry about the thing that I'm talking about right just then. It's probably some other shitty thing that happened to me in the day, and I'm just channeling it. But other than that,
I can't script. I can't script. My reading is horrible. On videos where I'm reading like just news articles, because I always do what comes to my mind. You'll notice that I tend to say the same sentence twice.
Yeah.
And I tend to stutter a little bit when I read. It's my learning disabilities. So if I script a video, it sounds worse than if I don't script it. None of my stuff is scripted.
My problem with scripting a video, my last one was scripted, and the audio quality is decent on it. But my problem was I was sitting in the most uncomfortable fucking position because it's the only position I could get in. So it literally sounds like I'm having a hard time reading.
Hey, man, all I know is my background is not in public speaking. It's in writing, and there's no way I wasn't going to use that to my advantage.
Right. I'm trying to move more towards scripted and educational videos, with only occasional shit post.
Yeah. Well, man, if you ever need help out with that, I'm more than happy to help out. Like
You are a wonderful mix. Actually,
Yeah.
I think that was the first comment that I left on one of your videos, and you liked it, where I said, it was probably our first interaction, actually, where I said, you're a wonderful mix of teal deer and bearing.
That's kind of what I'm trying to go for.
Except not as much of a prick as teal deer.
Yeah, see what I said about teal
teal
deer?
deer's a prick?
That's what I said earlier, man. Fucking.
Yeah, you talking shit on teal deer? That's my boy.
Yeah, I like teal deer.
Well,
Teal deer's my man, dude.
I have a bit of
He
a
thought
love.
one of my videos was fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a love.
Son of a bitch! I'm sorry, there's a moth attacking me.
Well, huge. I used to be a huge fan of teal deer.
Yeah.
But then he kind of deepened, and that's when I kind of was like, I'm backing off a little bit because he's a bit insane.
Well, again,
so you're talking.
Yeah. Most of my respect for him comes in the fact that he's objective as he is about presenting academic materials, and like I said earlier before you came onto the stream, I know exactly how he can rub people the wrong way because again, from the call center background, you don't know how many times I heard, "Oh, you think you're smart, don't you?" Like, and I only had to fucking laugh because I wasn't trying to, be a genius or anything. I'm just trying to explain things that are common sense to these fucking people. But apparently, in the wrong situation, having the wrong kind of mode of presentation can have you come off as a smartass, and people don't like that. And Teal Deer definitely has that, but he's good at what he does, and I'm not going to say otherwise.
Right. Well, hey, one tip, and I don't know if you got this from them, but if you're trying to present a specific emotion, like you're trying to present happy, smile, because you can audibly hear the change in a smile.
Right.
No, that actually, there is some interesting evidence to that.
Yeah.
And frown, if you're trying to present anger or disdain, you can hear that difference too.
Yep, that's method acting 101, man.
me coming from a background of just doing church choir after church choir after church choir since high school, they always tell you enunciate your words as best as possible and smile, and it's so true. People can tell the difference between when you're just stone faced and when you're smiling.
Yeah,
there's a major difference.
Well, unfortunately, in most of my videos, I don't really have much to smile about, but when the time comes around that I do, I'll remember that.
Yeah, that's true,
I just loved reading the comment section of my video on your channel where people are like, he's not funny. He has an annoying voice and he's not funny. I'm like, I think I'm funny and that's all that matters. Hope you have a great day. They don't know what to say after that.
Right.
Guys, Andrew again says, just smile. I had a flashback to call center training. Good God, fuck you, my dude. Hashtag triggered.
Yeah, you can only say that shit if you've been off the phones long enough. No vetted call center worker fucking smiles while they're on the phone. I mean, even the best ones, they can make it sound like they are, but they're not at all.
I would, but that's probably also why I'd get hit on a lot by older ladies.
Like all of them, pretty much any call center worker you're talking to, especially the ones that sound super fucking cheerful, if you could be inside their heads,
they're dead inside.
They're crying.
Yeah,
they're crying.
They're crying inside. They're wishing death on you is what they're doing. Their finger is hovering over the fucking end call button. You're like, oops, I accidentally dropped the call. That's
my problem was on call centers. I got so good at having a charismatic voice, people wanted to stay on my phone calls, and you got basically bumped up or down depending on if calls were longer.
Yep. Yeah, man, that's
so.
I mean, that's why when I ended up promoted, I didn't go quality management. I went tech support. My background was in solving problems, not making people smile.
Well, for all I want to do is just help people. Like, I'm just a person who does, what you see, what you hear in my videos is basically an exaggeration of like who I am in real life.
Right.
And I just like being nice to people. I like helping people. If I say, hey, if you need me to do a guest video for you, don't care what the sub count is. I genuinely want to do it. Yes, there's always that, way in the back of your mind, this could get me more views and more subs.
Yeah.
But for me, that's like the last thing on my mind. It's more along the lines of, hey, can I do this for you?
Which, by the way, I hope it helped out with your sub count, man.
I'm still growing. I'm currently at 58 right now.
Oh, right on. Yeah, 'cause I know I don't have that much influence yet, but I try to use what I have.
You've helped me out, and Amanda's letting me. I pretty much can make videos for Amanda whenever I want to.
Right on.
Because
she's super helpful.
She is. But it's for me. It's just like, I just like helping people. It's fun for me to help people. It's my personality.
I'll tell you, man. If you haven't worked at a call center, don't, because that will any bit of humanitarian you have in you, it's going to be killed by that job. Your give a fuckometer will just break the charts. Trust me.
Remember when we started to get to know each other after we did that collaboration with Dire Wolf?
Yeah.
I did not know who the heck you were, and I was just so happy that I had like 400 subs, and I was like, hey, would you like to do a guest video for me so I can get you some exposure? Because I thought you were a small YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing, man. I don't even, it hasn't, the amount of subs that I have hasn't even really dawned on me yet. I mean, for two reasons. One, I've told people I have a sort of a bunch of psychiatric problems, and a lot of them kind of affect my, confidence and self-esteem. But also, the first 10,000 subscribers that I got within the first few days of my channel, and it was because Bearing bumped that one video. And I don't want to say it's all because of him, because I don't want to be self-deprecating or anything. I know he's
video was good, bro. That's why that many people came over to his channel.
Yeah, but literally, I watched. I mean, the first time I refreshed the page after I posted the video, which was about half an hour in, I was already above like 1,500. So I'm like, holy shit.
Here's how I view things. Whenever I do a guest video, because at this point, since I've done this for a year, so I'm okay with begging for subscribers now, because when you lose your channel unfairly, it's okay to beg for subscribers because you did the work to get them before.
Oh, give hand jobs and blowjobs for that shit at this point.
Don't you mean hand job? But for me, it's simply. You do the guest video, but people have to be willing to like your stuff.
Right.
And so many people, it makes me, I'm critical of myself. I'm the biggest critic because I do my videos for other people, but I mainly do them for myself. And I hope people like them.
Right.
And whenever I see people in my comment section saying, hey, I really like what you're doing really good work, you're doing really good stuff.
Right.
It makes me feel really good, even though I would still be doing what I'm doing anyway.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you most of the people that I end up, referring or recommending that they start their own channel are usually the ones that leave like novel length fucking comments in the comment section.
Right.
I try to tell them, I'm like, look, dude, I understand why you do that, because I did the exact same thing and I still fucking do it. But you got to realize most people that see that shit, I mean, that's why Teal Deer got his name. Too long didn't read. Like, they're typically just going to pass by. Even the first video that I made, that last little bit about explaining how definitions of words work, that started off as a Facebook post that I made that nobody fucking read, because by that time people were tired of hearing me bitch about this shit. Mm-hmm. And I figured, if it's not going to get any attention here, I might as well use it somewhere.
Well, it was a good comment. I believe I came across that.
Yeah.
But I was super late when I did, so I didn't do anything with it.
I originally started my channel because I liked talking about politics. My mom got tired of it, and I can understand. And I'm like, okay, I watched Mr. Epsilon, and then ended up seeing a Sargon video, and I went down that rabbit hole and got addicted to watching Bearing, and then I started making my own channel. Once I got my iPod 4th generation to be able to do what I wanted to do. And
right.
All right.
Well, I got 2 points on this. One, I believe, how people like to say, oh, the 3 things you don't talk about.
Right.
I think that's total fucking rubbish.
Yeah.
You see, money, politics, and religion in the majority of people's lives are the largest things influencing them. Therefore, talk about them, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, the whole reason they say it's not that the issues don't need to be talked about. It's that if you don't want to end up getting into fights with people, that's why they say don't do it, because you're right. They do influence them, and because of that, they matter, and people have hard opinions on these things.
I remember when I came across when I was super like mega conservative and reserved and just more of like a fragile snowflake than I am now. People kept trying to drag me into these atheism versus Christianity debates when I only have a high school education. I don't know how to do this stuff.
That's good enough.
Now I'm just like, I don't want to. I'm not doing these debates. I'll have conversations, but debating serves no purpose for me. You're not going to change my mind.
Well, let me point out something very interesting. I don't know if you guys know Sketchy Hoods.
I do.
Very smart guy, very intelligent person all the way. I wouldn't say he's rich, but he's well off. And he's had every kind of very good education you could want in life, okay?
Right.
He's also an atheist, and I have conversations with him regularly about this kind of stuff because we actually live close by.
You do.
And, but I regularly talk to him about atheism and stuff because I'm a theist myself.
Right.
I'm a space theist. And, right, I have to point that out to most fuckers. But but he'll say it outright that he's had more intellectual conversations with me about this topic, a high school fucking dropout who's got a GED, than he has had with some fucking professors of theology.
Right.
It's the man, not the tool.
It is. Well, when this first started, like, I will never forget this because this is something that I call reverse proselytizing, where an atheist was actually trying to get me to convert out of Christianity, and they were so hell-bent in doing it, where they were saying things like, because I was sad for a completely different reason. Like, my voice, I was the only Christian in a room full of atheists, in a hangout full of atheists, and I was kind of uneasy, and when you're uneasy, you tend to sound like you're sad, and so the dude was like, hey, you sound like you're sad, and you sound like it's your religion that's doing this to you, and completely overstepping his bounds. And he kept pushing. He's like, I want you to he denounced the label of Christianity, all of its teachings, so you can be your, quote, true self. And that pissed me off. And he even said it in the comment section because I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And he even sent me a video on, are there smart people who believe dumb things? And the
militant atheists are the dumbest fuckers out there because they do the worst for their cause, and they create the stereotype for the angry internet atheist.
Yeah.
If you know, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I talked too much.
I was gonna say I don't really care to convert anybody. I mean, it's a discussion that I'll have. Well, maybe not tonight because fucking I need to get to bed at some point. But it's I don't, this whole trying to convert people shit anymore. I have no more patience for that.
I do. I'll never give it up.
Well,
I will change as many people to atheism as I possibly fucking can. It's just I focus on social justice these days.
Right. Maybe that's what it boils down to. That's where my focus is right now.
For me,
I'm pretty militant when it gets down to it, but yeah.
Well, there's a point of view that I've recently come across as a train of thought on this, in that, let's say atheism is real, okay? There's no God whatsoever, okay?
That's not actually atheist position, but like that's one of.
Yes,
it
is. It really is. There's no God. That's the atheist position. We're working on dictionary definitions here.
Okay.
For this.
All right. We'll run with it. Yep. Okay.
Okay. There's no God, and atheists are right.
All right.
Okay.
Sure.
What do atheists have? What does atheism, not atheist, but atheism itself, have to bring to the floor as a philosophy of morality and humanitarianism?
Well, that's
and
the
the
problem.
answer is nothing.
That's the problem, man. It's
That's the answer.
When morally gray says that that's not atheism,
Really?
what you have to understand is that it's a matter of whether or not you're treating it as an affirmative. Most atheists will not say there is definitely no God. Most atheists will just say, I don't believe there is one until you can prove that there is one. And it's not really, it's not a philosophy that involves anything as far as, morality or anything. It is simply one position on one question. Do you believe? And if your answer is no, you are an atheist.
And
pretty much.
I respect people. Like, I think I've heard of morally gray before. I respect people like him because as long as you're not, because I try hard not to force my beliefs on people. I will talk about them on my channel all day long, but I try not to, like, in a conversation, force them on you. But like morally gray, I believe in trying to convert people to Christianity, but only if they want to hear about it. If they don't want to hear about it, you can't make them, and so why waste your breath?
Well, that's certainly true. I mean, it's the same thing with the atheism position. Like, if you want to change people's mind, if you want to go into any of these topics, you've got to find people who are willing to actually have the conversation. Because on every side, there are people who just don't want to pay attention.
Right. I mean, it ultimately boils down to what you want out of the conversation. I mean, it's all a matter of your intention. If you come in wanting to hear the truth, then you're not going to. Chances are you're going to end up taking a position of neutrality on all sides. But if what you want is just right, if you just want an answer that's comfortable to you, then I mean,
absolutely.
There are a ton of ways to get there. That's why there's so many different religions.
Right. Real quick,
go ahead.
Real quick about Morley's point there that's not how most atheists are. I'd have to disagree because I've known lots of atheists, and problem is nobody puts out a fucking study about this. There's lots of atheists that are quite frankly, they don't. I know I've tried to look for this specific type of information. I've never found it. If I can, if you haven't, send it to me. But most atheists will say, for example, a lot of this stuff that, and I'm talking, most people in general are kind of uneducated, even on their own theological or atheist point of view. They're kind of uneducated.
I'll agree with that.
Okay. Therefore, it's very easy to beat down the average atheist who hasn't really done research on this type of stuff.
Same with the Christian.
Yeah. And I'm not a Christian myself. That's why it's hard to beat me down. It's
or
entertaining.
the Muslim, really.
Yeah, well, especially the Muslim. But the thing is, they get down to a point where you beat them on every point that they can personally present, and they get down to yelling, "Oh, sky daddies" and shit like that. And it's like, well, that's a straw man altogether. And your actually educated and intellectual atheists that exist are very interesting and smart and willing to have a discussion. But I'd say most of them aren't. Interestingly enough, Richard Dawkins gets a lot of crap as being a militant atheist, but he does give credit to Christianity for creating basically modern science and moral culture, which a lot of people don't realize. He does this. And, that's how an atheist should behave, I think. Not these militant, angry ones that say Christianity has nothing to do with modern culture, or it had nothing to do with science.
It's just a matter of not really segregating those people from the more mild ones, because it's not a matter of moral positioning or how strong your convictions are as far as that's concerned. Again, it's just an answer to that one. It's an answer to that one question. I mean, it's why I don't really have much patience for people who try to use agnosticism as though it's a middle ground between atheism and being a theist, and it's not, because
it answers a different question.
That's exactly right. It answers two different questions. Gnosticism and agnosticism answer the question, do you know? Most sane people are agnostic because they can't really know. And even if they think they do know, they can't confirm that they know. The questions theism and atheism answer the question, despite not knowing, do you believe? Once you understand that, you realize it's not really a middle ground. You would basically just end up using that word as a way to not answer the question.
Well, I also think, first off, a lot of people try to conflate agnostic with atheist, and they're not the same at all. Anybody that says they are doesn't understand definitions or mindsets.
Right. It's one is just a modifier to the other. That's all it is. To say you're an agnostic
two sides of a coin.
To say you're an agnostic atheist is to say that you don't know, but you also don't have enough information to be convinced that there
It's
is
a
in fact
knowledge
God.
question, whereas atheism is a belief question, or theism in that case.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
really think
Agnosticism
I don't
versus
think you can
narcissism.
be an agnostic atheist. I think you can be an honest atheist.
I'm an
That's the
agnostic
difference.
atheist.
Yeah.
No,
If-
no, I think you can be an
I do
honest
not know,
atheist.
and-
That's the difference.
Yeah. You
An honest atheist. Okay,
Right.
how? What
if
do you
And
mean
that
by that?
if you're an agnostic atheist, you admit that you can't define one way or another for sure. But you're really just being an
all right.
honest atheist at that point. And to be agnostic really just means you don't know.
right.
Well, and I'll say this much. I've also come to the conclusion, and there's actually
hang on.
interesting brain studies about this
Hmm.
that show, and I believe that there is a fundamental difference between the way the theistically minded person and the atheistically minded person's brain works.
Yes, and it's called a need for closure.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one.
No,
but
actually,
apart
no, it's
from
not
that,
closure. There's actually, this showed up in Morgan Freeman's special. Atheists actually have a smaller and less active part of the brain. I don't remember what it's called. That is contributes more to imagination and specifically also abstract problem solving.
Well, dude, I'm a writer and an
So-
artist, so I'm just saying.
you're saying
know.
that
No, there's definitely
atheists
exceptions.
have a
Just
a
that's
left
generally
brain reaction? Like, is that what you're saying? Because that's usually where the
No,
left
it's
brain stuff is.
specific
composed.
cortex something. I don't remember.
Okay, but there are cortexes on. All right, yeah.
I don't remember. I'll find the information later. I have this all saved somewhere.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. But going back real quick, when you're doing your atheism agnosticism thing, like we're talking about defining and understanding definitions, but I get a feeling you don't understand definitions then, because like again, atheism and theism is representative of belief methods, whereas Gnosticism and agnosticism is where it's sort of knowledge questions. So to be an agnostic atheist, you're a person who doesn't believe because you don't know.
That's right.
That's how that would work. Whereas
No,
if
it's
you're
not necessarily that you don't believe.
you could be a
That's
atheist and say that you do know there's no gods. That's
No,
how that
you can't
works
be
if
a
we're going by
theist
definitions.
atheist.
Well, look,
That's
man.
direct contradiction.
Well, look, Trucker. The thing.
Sorry, Gnostic atheist. You're right.
The thing about this is, it is entirely possible to have the position in assuming that you do know and be an atheist and say, "I know there's no God," but ultimately,
Right.
you're correct. It is a dishonest thing, mainly because of the fact that to say that you know means to say that you can demonstrate. Otherwise, all you're really saying
Right.
is that you're convinced. But the default
have to-
the default position by definition
actually,
of an atheist is that you don't know. If you're going by agnostic atheist, you don't know, but you're not convinced. That's what it generally means.
Right. But here,
Yeah,
for me,
you
for
don't believe.
example, I've come to the belief in God, and I don't mean like some people like to do the straw man of, Sky Daddy God and stuff. No, very few people believe that, and if they do, they're probably in the hills of the goddamn Sahara.
Yeah.
But
okay.
right, honestly, no, seriously.
I mean, I understand what you're trying to say, but okay.
But
Anyway.
I've come to this as a matter of personal, and this is part of why I say I think the agnostic and theist mind works. I mean, the atheist and the theist mind works different. Is I have come to this as a logical conclusion, looking at the ideas of how you would create a universe, because it is undisputable at this point that the universe has a beginning.
Okay.
Where's heaven, my dude, real quick. No, Andrew M. Shepard. Where's heaven then, my dude? Dude, I'm not a Christian, so therefore I don't exactly believe in heaven. So can't nail me down with that one.
So, wait, how did you get to the point that where did you get this information that the universe had a definitive beginning? Because as far as I know, that's practically an unknowable question.
No,
Right.
thought experiments along with logical experiments.
Well,
And,
there's also the
mathematics
fact
have proven
that when you realize that time and space are aspects of one thing, and that time is essentially elastic and relative, to even ask the question, was there a beginning, is kind of like asking the question, is there anything north of the North Pole? I mean, sure, there are
It doesn't really make much sense.
there are sure
Yeah.
things that are there are things that are above the North Pole, but that's not what north is. It's ultimately it's a question that can't be answered because it's a question that's not being asked the right
Not
way.
only that, but if you look at physics as well, there's arguments that matter has always existed, that it never technically, or that we could not know. There's a singularity before the existence of the universe, and et cetera,
Well,
et
the
cetera.
thing is, the
Like, it's a
singularity had a
mystic shit
beginning
that goes
before
into
it.
this. Well,
Oh no,
I mean,
it definitely
again,
ends up
a lot of
blurring the
people-
lines between science and what the fuck.
A lot of people get hung up on the beginning thing, but the truth is we just can't know.
But one of
So-
my big problems is a lot of
Yeah.
people, and I say this, the militant atheist and the fundamental Christian both have this issue that they think the Big Bang Theory is about how the universe came into existence, but it's not. And I actually did this in a video against Easy
Big
on
Bang
Me and
isn't
Hunter
the way.
Avalon. Right, it's only point B to point C, totally skipping point A, beginning of universe.
Yeah, the few, however many, nanoseconds or whatever that happened prior to expansion is something that our mathematical models can't describe yet. So
They all fall the fuck apart.
it's basically a question that we're not really prepared to answer. But that's the thing. I mean, that's where the whole God of the gaps thing comes in. Just because we don't know yet doesn't necessarily mean God.
Gabe is making fishy faces.
Yeah, I noticed. It's really just a matter of whether or not you're willing to suspend logic and observe reality honestly. It's
right. And the other point of view, though, I have about it is that if the universe was eternal, we would just be in a giant fucking gray matter thing where no energy or matter truly existed, because it would be perfectly smoothed out throughout the universe, and that would not be existence as we know it today.
I don't know how you got to that, but
Entropy.
do you believe that a god is? Well, I mean, okay, so you mean entropy?
Let me
as in
explain
the
it to
heat
you
death
this
type
way.
of entropy.
Essentially, but let me explain it to
Right.
you this way, okay? My one hard belief about God is that he is the creator and sustainer, and I use he liberally here, is the creator and sustainer of physical matter, energy, and the laws of physics. And that is it. Nothing else.
Okay, interesting.
Well, that's kind of another thing, man. I mean, if you're talking about logically proving something, the less specific your definition is, the harder it is to disprove. It's
right, but that's a very specific definition.
Well, not really, because considering the fact that we don't know the conditions that created the universe and what those physical conditions would have to be, it could be any number of things that cause that we could then put the God label on. You're giving definitions for specific attributes, but until we know everything surrounding it that it would actually take, you're thinking abstractly at that point.
I'm also curious.
Yeah.
So do you believe that the universe is not infinite?
Considering that it is, I believe that it is.
In terms of time, in terms of existence.
I believe it is infinitely. It is infinitely existence forward, like a ray. Not backwards.
Okay, so it did have a beginning, so it's not technically infinite then. It did have a beginning.
Right. I believe it's infinite forward, not backwards.
Yeah. Well,
and I can't find it right now, but Valinsky's model actually proves this.
Do you believe God in your mind has the same circumstance?
That is another abstract question that probably requires another long time of philosophy and going to, hey, Carrot's back. Damn you, Carrot. Fuck you. Anyway, that probably, look, is God infinite as, I'm working on an interesting idea in a way, because I do like the Hindu idea. And if you really get down to the base of Hinduism, this is what it says. But God is the conscious mind that exists eternally and backwards, forwards, within the universe and without the universe.
Right.
And
well,
yeah.
I mean, I definitely appreciate the discussion as far as, philosophy is concerned. But again, the way you start that sentence is indicative of the angle that you're arguing from. You say, I like the idea.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine if you like an idea one way or another, but it's not to say one way or the other if that's actually true. I mean, there's also other questions that a lot of people don't consider. The question always seems to come to, when did the universe begin? And we don't really think about how nonsensical that question might necessarily be in the context of the physics of what actually created the universe. But we don't ask questions such as, everything in the universe is in motion. There is no exception to this. Everything is in motion. But if you look at the Big Bang Theory and the way it goes back, then that would logically mean that there was a certain point in the existence of the universe, however you wish to quantify it, that things were not in motion. And we can no more wrap our minds around that than we can wrap our minds around the beginning of time. I mean, it basically boils down to the fact that we don't have the answers yet. All we can really do is keep asking questions and viewing things empirically. But you can take this in two directions. You can either acknowledge that we don't know something and wait until we actually have the answer or the method to find that answer, or you can start making speculation and answers that you like and certain other things. Did he drop out?
It looks like it.
Yeah, I think so. Oh well. Actually, I was kind of needing to close this to begin with. Yeah, like I said, man, I have some appointments I got to attend tomorrow. So
yeah, sorry, my philosophical thoughts on God and stuff can get people talking.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what. We'll do another live stream about this at some point, but between now and then, look up something called A Universe from Nothing by a guy by the name of Lawrence Krauss, because I'd be interested in what you have to say about it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, you got to admit, my take on God is very unique compared to the ones you've probably come across before.
What's that?
I said you probably have to admit my take on God and this type of philosophy is definitely different.
Yeah, it's definitely not the norm. But again, it's a much longer conversation than I have the time for right now.
All right. Well, I'm gonna drop out and start playing BioShock, man.
Very good.
Hey, Carrot. Real quick, Carrot, sorry you're late. You goddamn godless heathen. No, I'm fucking with you, Carrot.
Right. All right, man. Well,
love you, Carrot.
Yep. Thanks to everybody who contributed here. Thanks for everybody that stopped in to watch. Again, I really appreciate it. Let's hope that I can keep pushing forward. I think I'll set my next goal at 30,000 subscribers, and we'll do something like this again. In the meantime, yep, 30, maybe 35, right?
25.
Well, we'll see. It just depends on the kind of momentum that I have between now and then. But in any case, thank you all for stopping by, and see you in my next video.
All right. Later, guys.
Yep.